88 drone video, Vogel Heat and Air, Crawcan Telephone, and Crossland Construction.
Now let's go live to the field. Here's the voice of the Purple Dragons, Cam Molina.
And we welcome you to Overland Park, Kansas.
An old rivalry is set to rekindle in the sectional of the 2017 Class 5A Kansas State Football Championship as the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons, the number 3 seed in the East, are set to take on the number 2 seed in the St. Thomas Aquinas Saints here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7. Again, a very welcome to Overland Park, Kansas, alongside Avi Sharma with Caleb Whitnow. Back at our KSHQ studios is Shelby White. I'm Cam Molina. Avi, this Pittsburg High team has been rolling as of late, 8-2 on the season. They were easily able to dismantle 2 Caw Valley teams in Turner High School last week and then in the first round of playoffs in Washington. It's primarily been the ground attack that has supplied this team with such heavy amount of scoring and yards gained offensively, but the passing attack by senior quarterback Chase Curtis, he scored 6 touchdowns, really came into the fold in that contest.
Yeah, absolutely, Cam. Everything is firing on all cylinders, and that's what you want tonight in a cold game here for PHS, as they've been looking very, very good. But you can't, that's in the past now, Cam. Tonight's a night that they have to focus on, and they have to be prepared because this is going to be a tough Saints team that they're going to face, and it's just going to be a physical battle up front. But, you know, for the advantage for the Purple Dragons is the Saints are running this triple offense. You know, we've seen this all year long, so they know what to prepare for. They're ready in advance, but like I said, it's going to be a tough battle.
As you said, the triple option offense, a staple of head coach Randy Dreiling's team. Longtime Hutchinson High School head football coach, a half a dozen state championships, including 17 years at the helm of the Salthawks near Wichita, Kansas. What a fantastic career he had there. Comes over to St. Thomas Aquinas about 3 years ago and has been spectacular and is trying to help the Saints reach the state championship.
Yeah, and I mean they're close. They're right there, you know. So, but you can't look forward to those games. I mean, this is it, Cam. One and done. So if you win, you go on. If not, you're going home, packing your bags, and you know both of these teams don't want to do that, as it's a different atmosphere when it's playoffs, a different level. Competitors just go up, you know, that drive, that itch, you know, and so you almost have to play perfect football to keep going.
Well, it will be a formidable matchup for each side. The number 3 seed, the Purple Dragons, and head coach Tom Nicholson, as well as the number 2 seed in the St. Thomas Aquinas Saints, and Randy Dreiling, set to kick off in about half an hour. We will step aside for 2 minutes and have a sit-down conversation with Pittsburg High School head football coach Tom Nicholson right after this. You're listening to the home of Purple Dragon Athletics on ESPN 100.7.
It's game time all across the 4 states, and Frank Fletcher Toyota here in Joplin is here to cheer on every tackle, touchdown, and sample spot. That's why on behalf of the Kansas City Dealers Association, we've had the opportunity to share over 50,000.
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust? They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-Power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Headquartered in Richmond, Kansas, QSI Quality Structures Incorporated specializes in designing and building complete post-frame buildings. We provide structures built to withstand a 30-pound ground snow load and a 90-mile-per-hour wind shear built to the most stringent codes. Whether you need a garage, agricultural building, commercial facility, or custom-built design, we're your one-stop shop for post-frame buildings. QSI. Everything we do is right on cue.
It's a feeling you get the moment you step on campus.
It's the knowledge that you've become part of something more.
We're a family of crimson and gold.
Every day, we challenge ourselves to achieve more.
The reason why we're here is to make a difference
Everybody wants to stand out.
without standing apart.
You belong.
At Pittsburg State University.
Crawcan Telephone Cooperative has been serving Girard in southeast Kansas for 65 years. In 1952, we helped our members connect with each other using telephone lines. Today, we connect our members with the entire world using fiber optics. While the technology has changed, our commitment to deliver it to our members has not. Check us out on the web at ckt.net.
What that game allowed us to do was work on our passing game a little bit. We hadn't been able to do that the 2 or 3 weeks previous to that due to scores getting out of hand, and we really wanted to work on that before going in to the next round. And Chase was on. His balls were on the money. Receivers were running good crisp routes and then getting a lot of yards after the catch. So I think we took Turner by surprise a little bit because they didn't see us throw much on the films we exchanged, but we really went in consciously trying to work on the passing game.
And you brought up Turner not typically expecting that. I did speak with their coach prior to the game, and he said we're going to buckle down on the defensive line and make sure we win the battle up front and have that first push. But your skill position players, just the abilities that they were able to show off last week, ones that have not really been seen throughout the regular season. Obviously, Dylan White, your junior wide receiver, had 7-8 touchdowns entering that matchup. But Zachary Sutton had a monumentous day. Ty Cicero also got it in on the action. Are your skill position players just starting to hit their stride now, or has this just been a latent ability that's now just coming to the surface?
Well, a little bit of both. I mean, these guys are all really good athletes. They just maybe haven't got their number called or something happened where the situation didn't dictate where the ball went to them. So, they got their chances and they'll make their most of it. Dylan Jordan also had a nice night for us on the offensive side. We can't just have one or two guys. We've got to spread the ball around and try to spread defenses out and keep them guessing a little bit. And, we're fortunate to have several really good athletes on that side of the ball that, they haven't done any complaining about not touching the ball. It hasn't worked out where they've got it very much. But when they do get it, they always make the most of their opportunities. So we'll try to keep feeding it to them as long as they're being successful with it.
And, Coach, your balanced offensive attack makes it so difficult for opposing teams to plan around what they want to do defensively. But speaking of defense, your defensive side of the football has forced at least one turnover in the last 3 games. Can you just touch on how the defense has performed so well?
Well, they're playing fast and they're playing with a lot of confidence, and that's what defense is. You have to go. You can't be reading. You've got to be knowing what your assignments are and flying at the snap. And the defensive staff's done a really good job of getting the guys prepared. And they're not thinking. They're just going out there and playing. And when you're doing that, number one, you're understanding your responsibilities, but number two, you play faster than you normally would if you're having to think and analyze. So, it sounds not real smart to go out there and not have your defensive guys think, but it's due to the repetitions and due to the coaching and the film study. Once they see it, they should just go and react. There should not be any thinking, and that's where they've had them the last few weeks. And when you're playing faster and you're getting that many hats to the ball, it generally will lead to some turnovers for you.
Cam Molina currently talking with Pittsburg High School head football coach Tom Nicholson. And, Coach, you touched on him just for a second, but I would like for you to expand on Dylan Jordan, how well he's played over the last 5-6 weeks defensively. Much like your linebacker, Jarek Butcher, he's always there to the football first. He's a very emotional player on the field. And offensively, one of the first times we've seen him this year take a 68-yard run to the house with some beautiful moves in the open field.
Well, he really has. His last 3 weeks have been his best of the season by far. And Dylan's one of the most athletic kids we have on the team. He is very emotional, and he's learning how to control that and channel it the right way. But he's just been getting better and better in the weight room and on the practice field and studying his film. But he's really come out and played extremely well, particularly on the defensive side of the ball the last 3 weeks. He seems to always be in the frame and always around the ball every snap, as well as our other 2 linebackers. And I think him and all our linebackers would be the first to tell you that's a pretty big credit to our defensive line, eating up a lot of blocks and allowing them to run free.
Coach, you're getting ready to head into the sectionals. You've done that 3 out of the last 4 years. Have you noticed anything different since you became the head coach at Pittsburg High School? Any difference in the upbringing of players, the culture, anything that would really lend a hand to your guys' success?
Well, no. I mean, Pittsburg High School has been good since Coach Garman was here in the 60s, and then Coach Clark continued that on. I'm just trying to fill some extremely big shoes, and I'm just fortunate we have very good assistant coaches who care deeply about Pittsburg High football, and we have kids who are willing to work and do whatever it takes to be successful. So I'm just trying not to screw this thing up that Coach Garman and Coach Clark got going for the last 40 years. And we're just fortunate to have a really good group of kids right now who this is very important to them, and they want to do everything they can to be successful.
And, Coach, next matchup against St. Thomas Aquinas, this is not the first time you guys have met in sectionals between 2000 and 2009. These two teams clashed 3 times. Many have considered it somewhat of a rivalry in the postseason. Do you see any merit to that? And even if it is a rivalry, do you really think your guys will be more engaged because of it?
Well, at this point in the season, no. It better not take a certain school to make you play harder. I mean, you're one of the last 4 teams on this side of the state playing. That's motivation enough. And every team at this point is good. But we do seem to always run into Aquinas when we're making a run. And it's pretty even split, wins and losses between the two. What we look at is an extremely well-coached physical program up there that they do things the right way, and they have very good players that know their responsibilities. And much like the Webb City and Carl Junctions and Harrisonvilles of the world, it's a great opportunity for our kids to go up and see how we stack up against what we consider one of the top programs in the state.
Coach, for one, what do you see in Aquinas? And number 2, what is imperative on the offensive side and defensive side to execute in order for you guys to win this upcoming matchup?
Well, the number one thing about Aquinas that you know you're going to get is a very physical offensive line and a very physical and fast defense. So their trademark is physicality and running the football. And what we have to do is limit their first down success. We can't let them get 4 and 5 and 6 yards plus every first down, because then they're extremely tough to stop and extremely unpredictable when they get in those situations. They can do whatever they want. They love 2nd and 5, so we need to limit first down success. And when we get our opportunities for big plays on offense, we got to hit them. They're gonna take some chances because of their aggressiveness on defense, and we need to do some things to slow down that defensive front and the linebackers and make them think a little bit, not just react and fly to the ball. And as always, turnovers and penalties will always play a huge role, especially when you're this deep in the playoffs.
Once again, that was the Pittsburg High School head football coach, Tom Nicholson. When we return to ESPN 100.7, we will be joined by St. Thomas Aquinas head football coach, Randy Dreiling. Don't go anywhere. Your home of Purple Dragon Athletics is here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
Customer first, safety always. It's not just a tagline, it's the Watco way. By focusing on safety, each and every day they build a future by protecting their customers, team members, community, and the environment. When Watco moves commodities by rail, river, and road, at home or across North America and Australia, their priority is to ensure that they deliver their load safely and on time. Watco wishes all area teams a safe and successful season.
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust? They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
I had no idea you did that.
That's what I said when I learned CDL does more than just electrical work. Like plumbing, heat and air, security cameras and alarms, generators, solar panels, even signs for my business. CDL really is one company that has a solution for about everything in my home and business. Learn more at cdlsolution.com.
Haynes Incorporated in Frontenac is the driveline specialist. Haynes handles all driveline repairs for cars, trucks, four-wheel drive vehicles, and farm equipment. Haynes can also handle any general machine work and offers 24-hour wrecker service. Call Haynes anytime, 231-3170. Haynes Incorporated is located at the intersection of West McKay and Highway 69 Frontenac Junction. Haynes Incorporated in Frontenac is the driveline specialist.
Now back to Dragon football.
Hello, and we welcome you back to ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters. Cam Molina, joined by St. Thomas Aquinas head football coach Randy Dreiling. Coach, 9-1 record for your club, the best start in your 4-year tenure. What are your opinions of your club this season?
Well, it's a veteran squad, and so, we expected that we'd be good. You never know in this league. It's tough competition, and we were fortunate enough to, to finish or to be at this point 9-1. But as you know, you're only as good as your next game in the playoffs. So, that's all behind us.
And, Coach, as you look forward to your upcoming matchups, and it seems that many coaches take that mentality, it seems to be spearheaded by your defense. They're only allowing 16 points your season. Who's been a standout playmaker on your defensive side? In addition, how do you think your defense has been playing this season?
Well, I hate to single anybody out, but we do have, several guys over there, and obviously it takes a lot of guys to have the kind of defense that we had. But, Jared Flood's a 4-year starter at free safety for us. A 3-year starter. Ryan Jerzak's a 3-year starter over there. Dan Bullock played as a freshman, so he's, 3- and 4-year starter there at linebacker. Bo Meisenheimer is another linebacker that started last year as a sophomore, is now a junior. So Javier Garrett's a 3-year starter as a junior. Robert started as a freshman. He's a sophomore. Gaona, the other DN, started last year. He's back. We got some corners that have played and started. So it's a pretty veteran group, and I'm sure I left somebody out, but they have a lot of experience, I think, that they draw upon.
And, Coach, you alluded to it's a whole team effort, and it does take a village for a defense to really shine. Can you talk about the cohesion of your team, how that chemistry is?
Well, I think I think it all starts with our coaching staff on that side of the ball, and Coach McInnes and Coach Flood, our co-defensive coordinators. They do a wonderful job putting those guys in a position to be successful, to know what the other team's doing. And, I think, a lot of times just getting lined up in high school football is sometimes the hardest thing to do, but most important thing to do. I think if you get lined up, and those guys do a great job of getting them in positions, to be successful, you get lined up, you got a chance. So I think that's probably the key to it as far as cohesiveness goes is those guys implementing the plan that those coaches put in place.
Coach, and, talking with you over the last 5-10 minutes prior to the interview, it just seems that a lot of your adages and your mentality, everything is pretty simple in the way you're trying to direct it to your team. What are your messages to your team coming into this upcoming matchup?
Obviously, the finality of it all, you either win or you're done. And so I think high school kids sometimes lose the sense of the moment that they're in, and we try to impress that upon them every single day, how special this time is and how you're going to look back at your high school career, and those are the things you're going to talk about. And so we just try to get them to make sure that they understand what it is that's not the most important thing in the world, but at this point it's one of the most important things that they're doing, and I think that's what we try to do with these guys.
Currently talking with St. Thomas Aquinas head football coach Randy Dreiling. Coach, your offense has been very productive this season, averaging 41 points per game. Who are some playmakers on the offensive side of the ball? In addition, what makes this offense tick so efficiently?
Well, again, it's we have 10 starters back on offense, and so it's a group that knows what they're doing, and they're able to adjust not only during the game but during the play. And I think it's all spearheaded by Will Swanson, our quarterback, who's a 2-year starter, and but he does have, I would say, the best grasp of our offense of any quarterback that we've ever had. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback, but he understands and he suggests plays to me all the time, every game. And most of the time, the stuff he suggests works. So he's kind of the guy that spearheads it. But we've got, our 2 slots, Davis and Hicks, are both guys that started a year ago, so they've got plenty of experience. Our offensive line, all of them, Halski and the right tackle and the left tackle are probably our leaders along with Wyatt there at right guard. But they're all veteran guys up front, and Morrissey, our wideouts, a returning starter, our tight ends, a returning starter. So there's just a lot of experience over there.
Coach, your only loss this season is to arguably the best team in the state in Bishop Miege. Would you take that game as a learning experience? If so, what did your team take from that contest?
It was a game that, as always with those guys, very, very physical, and I thought we were as physical as we've played the whole year that game. We just did not convert. And, we had a couple of drives where we just didn't make either a fourth down or lost the ball down the goal line and that type of thing. So that's, always the case. If you don't, if you make mistakes and shoot yourself in the foot, you're not going to be successful. And we had a little bit of that last week versus Bonner. Got down first drive, fumbled, in the end zone. So I think our guys are aware of that, and we're stressing that this week. We got to take care of business, take care of our side of the deal, and then you have a chance.
Coach, you have a tie to Pittsburg, Kansas, and it comes in the form of your son, Nate. He was a 4-year starter, All-American linebacker at Pittsburg State University, now a coach there. When I was looking up some information about him a few years ago, there was one article that suggested he spent hours and hours and hours in the film room. Do you instill that in your guys? Do you tell them, hey, the first avenue to success is in the film room and us planning out what we need to do to win?
Well, I'm pretty sure that, nowadays it's just a lot different than it used to be. Kids have so much more access to the practice film and to the game films, and, some of them watch them the night after the game. So I think it's easy for the kids to do that. And we pretty much grade their practices, and then they're required to go in and look at that. I don't know how many of them actually study, the film and look at the tendencies of the guy they're playing. I wouldn't over glorify it to that extent, but certainly they have the opportunity to watch a lot of film, and a lot of it is themselves more so maybe even than the opponent.
Coach, upcoming matchup in sectionals against the Pittsburg High School Purple Dragons. What do you see in Tom Nicholson's group?
It looks like a typical Pittsburg team. I mean, they got size. They've got folks everywhere. They're battle-tested. What a great schedule they've played this year. So I'm sure they're not going to come in here the least bit worried about who we are or who we've played. They've played some of the best teams around. So, it's going to be a great game, a great challenge, and the type of game that you expect in the quarterfinals this time of the year.
Once again, a special thanks to Randy Dreiling, head football coach of St. Thomas Aquinas. When we return to ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters, a breakdown of tonight's matchup between the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons and St. Thomas Aquinas. Don't go anywhere. Your home of Purple Dragon Athletics, back right after this.
Now accepting new clients. At the Pet Care and Surgery Center, Dr. James Clark believes all of our pets deserve kind, humane, and loving treatment. From a simple checkup or rabies vaccination to performing major surgery. Plus, Dr. Clark has boarding, grooming, nutrition, and wellness checkups. Dr. James Clark can provide that loving member of your family with the treatment they deserve. Call 620-308-6454 to set up an appointment or simply visit petcarecenter.org. Pet Care and Surgery, making a difference.
Accidents happen. That's why they're called accidents. And if you're involved in an accident, it becomes an instant worry, including can your car be repaired properly and in a timely manner. Enter Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing, a company that exemplifies quality work done in a timely manner. Best of all, Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing offers direct billing to most insurance companies. So, if you're in an accident, there's one name to remember. Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing. Their name says it all. Ask about their 24-hour towing service, too. Call 232-9400. Find the fast in names and numbers.
Hi, this is Dr. Brent Cousins with SEK Urgent Care. When you're sick, when you're injured, or when you just don't feel like yourself, SEK Urgent Care is here for you. Let our skilled providers treat your non-life-threatening illness or injury at a fraction of the time and cost of an ER visit. Located at the corner of Centennial and Broadway in the Meadowbrook Commons. Open 7 days a week for your convenience. SEK Urgent Care, where your family and time matter. Find us fast in names and numbers.
Marone's Food Service Incorporated wishes the best of luck to all area athletic teams this season. It has been their pleasure to provide great quality food products to area schools, colleges, and universities in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. Marone's Food Service is proud to be a fourth-generation family-owned and operated business with over 80 years of service to their customers, employees, families, and communities. Good luck to all area teams from Marone's.
Now back to Dragon football.
And we welcome you back to the frozen tundra in Overland Park, Kansas. Bring on the Saints. An over 10-foot white sign hangs in front of a crowd that's beginning to swell here at St. Thomas Aquinas High School as the Saints look to defend their gridiron against the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons in the Class 5A sectional round alongside Avi Sharma with Caleb With now back in our KSHQ studios with Shelby White. I'm Cam Molina. My goodness, that has to be an 11 or 12-foot tall banner, Avi. That's something you would see in a gymnasium being hanged by maybe the Lakers or someone after they won a world championship.
Well, get this, Cam. It looks like the cheerleaders are, one cheerleader's on the ground. They're picking up another cheerleader. They're picking up another cheerleader to hold that thing and just get it torn down, Cam. But here come the Saints, and you know they're more than fired up to play this one as the Dragons on the other side are ready to go. And Cam, hopefully these guys prepared for the cold weather as we did not, as we last minute this thing, but we're ready to go now.
A very algid temperatures, you would say, close to 30 degrees currently. You and I, we went to Phillips 66, asked the attendant, hey, do you have hand warmers? No, you can go to our smaller store, you can find some there. None there. We went to Super Target, nothing there. So you and I thought we were going to have to huddle near each other for warmth. And then Caleb With now spouts out with a great idea. Hey, let's go to a sporting goods store. So we finally went to Dick's and found some hand warmers. So we are content right now, but this Pittsburg High team is not content with the position they're in currently. And right now it looks like the national anthem is about to be played. So before we get deeper into this matchup, we will step aside for 2 minutes to bring you back more action from Overland Park.
Jocksnitz has all your hometown needs to get you geared up for the football game. New Pitt State gear has already arrived, such as hats, tees, sweatshirts, license plates, koozies, and even tees for your dog. We are your stop to make before headed to tailgate. There's only one Gorilla Nation, and there's only one Gorilla Gear headquarters, Jocksnitz Sporting Goods. Check us out in downtown Pittsburg and Park.
You got the sports look of today. Sporting Goods from Jocksnitz.
At Lindbergh Pharmacy, we care about your health. From a qualified and caring staff to services like our Time My Meds and MedPack programs, Lindbergh Pharmacy provides personalized service you can count on. Refill prescriptions online at lindberghpharmacy.com or on your smartphone with our free Lindbergh Pharmacy mobile app. You can also sign up for our text alert program and we'll text or email you when your prescription is ready. Can't make it to us? We'll deliver your medications right to your door. Lindbergh Pharmacy, now 2 locations to serve you.
They're doing it Chicago style before, during, and after the game at Casano's Pizza in Joplin and Pittsburgh. The atmosphere is special at 200 West Centennial in Pittsburgh and 3929 East 7th Street in Joplin. Order carryout or see the whole menu at Casano'sPizza.com. Do it Chicago style at Casano's.
Casano's in the Meadowbrook Commons in Pittsburgh, now serving lunch. Try the buffet with pizza, drink, and a salad for only $8.99.
Getting the game-winning score is how you feel when you take your vehicle to Vietti Auto Body and Alignment. They have pros that can take your car from 2 with a team of experienced pros that get the job done right the first time. Vietti Auto Body and Alignment will deal with the insurance companies, making it a game-winning experience for you. Vietti Auto Body and Alignment voted your #1 choice for auto repair and independent service and repair again this year. On 4th Street since 1948, or call 231-6230. Find them fast in names and numbers. If you're in the mood for shopping, visit Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall. Pittsburgh's original one-stop shopping center has a lot to offer. A great variety of clothing and shoes for the whole family, a large selection of gifts, sporting goods, events, and entertainment, plus terrific places to eat, and you can enjoy the newest movies in 8 theaters. Shop the comfortable and convenient atmosphere at Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall. There's always something happening at Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall.
Now back to Dragon football.
So after a quick prayer and the national anthem, the Purple Dragons are currently warming up. 3:30 remaining before opening kickoff at St. Thomas Aquinas High School for the Class 5A Boys State Championship round of sectionals. The Purple Dragons have now gathered their team captains, and they are lined up towards the south side of the field. currently making their way out onto the field as soon as the officials allow them to go, also will be the team captains for the Saints. Avi, when you look at this Saints team, it starts on the front line. Anthony Vinna, Wyatt Keenan, Joe Mahalski, Tommy Tholen, and Alex Mann, all upperclassmen for the Saints. They'll have to pave the way for this ground game, which is ran out of the triple option.
Well, Cam, not only are their last names hard to pronounce, but these guys are brutes. I mean, they look like a group of guys I do not want to stand in front of. I mean, I'm not even 6 foot tall, and these guys are in high school, taller than me, bigger than me. You know, these guys are built for football, and they are the hogs that will be providing the way for this Saints offense. But, you know, that's the obstacle, is this Dragon defense is good. They are absolutely phenomenal. They have been underappreciated, if you will. I think that this defense deserves more credit than what they should, and if they get turnovers, they will win this game.
And you talk about turnovers, one player who will have to be especially cautious with the ball in this contest will have to be Will Swanson for the Saints. Their senior quarterback, a 2-year starter, 22 total touchdowns on the season, one right behind Chase Curtis, the senior quarterback for the Purple Dragons. We could see a quarterback contest in this ballgame.
Yeah, and, you know, I think the best thing that we heard in that interview with Coach Dreiling is he said he wasn't, Swanson's not the best quarterback he's ever had, but he's a quarterback that gets the job done and is good at what he does. So therefore, I feel like, you know, it's just confidence in your quarterback. And then you said it right, Cam. Number 18 for the Purple Dragons in Chase Curtis. He is an absolute stud, as he threw for 6 touchdowns last week. Just a phenomenal showing, as we did not expect the Dragons to air it out, and they did just that. And so really looking forward to this matchup. Very interested to see how both offenses want to do, if they want to mix it up, change things up because it's playoff time, or stick to their playbooks and continue to run the traditional offense.
I want to go back momentarily to the Purple Dragons defense. They have been outstanding the last 3 games. They've allowed less than 20 points scored, and it starts up front with that defensive line. Ty Sisser has played excellent. Dylan Jordan, who's an outside linebacker, has done a great job coming off the edge. Jarek Butcher, Chase Johnson, also 2 great players of that strong safety and middle linebacker spot, respectively, who have played outlandishly well this season.
Well, and I mean, you forgot one of the defensive tackles there. Let me put it as a defensive tackle / kicker, Nathan Neef, as he actually gets ready to kick this thing off. But, you know, you couldn't said it any better. This defense is so good. And, you know, one person, he's not a captain on the team, but I think he's a captain on that defense, is Jarek Butcher. He is a absolute great person to look up to on that defense. He's the one that rallies the team. He's the one that calms the team down out there, get over their heads there. And so he's just a great person to have that will build this defense up tonight.
Jared Flood, Tristan Davis back to return the football for the Saints as the time ticks to 10 seconds. And the Saints fans starting to pick up in volume. The yellow blanketed Saints fan section currently standing on their feet, trying to keep the blood circulating, as is Nathan Neef, as well as the Purple Dragon special teams unit. The ball is placed on an orange tee at the 40-yard line, and to kick the football away will be Nathan Neef for the Dragons, as the kick will be left to right, and we begin the round of sectionals in the Class 5A state championship before a whistle is blown.
Wow. Looks like we're not starting just yet, Cam.
That's almost like an opening tip-off in basketball. I'm not sure if you saw ESPN, but it was the Knicks and Magic, and it may have been the most lazy tip-off in NBA history, and the officials just let it go. And that will not be the case here, as it will be a re-kick. And I think it was an offside by the Purple Dragons, as the ball is now moved to the 35-yard line. Nathan Neef will place the football back on the tee once again, and the orange tangerine tee is directly in between the hash marks at the 35-yard line. So one flub early on by the Purple Dragons, and for Tom Nicholson, hopefully this is not a foreboding sign of what is to come.
Discipline, Cameron. Discipline is the main word for both of these teams. Discipline and turnovers. You can't have easy, costly mistakes.
Flood takes it from the 11-yard line. He'll run near side of the field. He's across the 25, the 30. He has a little bit of room. He's across the 35, nearly at the 40. Stiff arms and is finally pushed out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Great starting field position for the Saints, who come out with a 9-1 record, and will bring on Will Swanson, who has 15 rushing touchdowns this season, 7 through the air, only 2 interceptions. He is very conservative, if you will, and also a great playmaker for this team. And when I say conservative, I say it in the most lively wholeheartedly manner possible. He takes care of the football.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want as a quarterback. You know, if you want to be successful, you got to have a guy who's going to get the football every single down that's going to protect it, and that's what Swanson is, and that's why he's a 2-year starter that this team has confidence in.
Jackson is the deep back. To the left of Swanson will be his left running back, and Drew Hicks, the senior. Swanson looks towards the right sideline. Play clock at 10 seconds. Finally, the play comes in. Deuce's receiver towards the far side of the field. Swanson will keep himself. He weaves in between traffic. He's at the 45, nearly to the 50-yard line. He stops shy at the 48 after a gain of 9 yards on the run, and actually it will be enough to move the chains 10 yards on the pickup from Swanson. He did a great job reading the Pittsburg High defense that scuttled towards the left side of the offensive line, and then Swanson, all he had to do was maneuver through the middle and pick up easy yardage.
But look out, Cam, if you noticed after that play, Swanson was limping a little bit there, so very first play he gets the call, he runs it himself, and now he's a little bit injured. We'll have to see how that plays out.
One wing set toward the far side of the field. Again, coming in motion from left to right will be Hicks. Handoff up the middle. It's to Jackson. Jackson cut underneath, and he flies through the air. He's stopped at the 41-yard line, and that should be enough to move the chains once again. Back-to-back runs by Aquinas, 20 yards total. And the Pittsburg High defense, who has faced teams similar in style, including North High School, Webb City, etc., having difficulties through the first 2 plays of this contest.
Absolutely, but look at that. Alex Mann, the left tackle, just limped off the field, so another little injury, Cam. This is getting a little bit there for the Saints.
Hicks hesitates as he faked the motion, handoff to Jackson again before he's tripped up. A 5-yard run on first down. Jarek Butcher reached out his long left arm and tripped up Jackson after a pickup of 5 yards. It will be officially 2nd down and 6 with 10:50 remaining in the first quarter of action. Aquinas on the move in Purple Dragon territory on the left hash mark at the 35-yard line. Swanson receives orders from his commanding officer in Dreiling. He relays that message to his cohorts, and he will line up under center. It will be a 2-back set. Far side of the field, wide receiver is Jack Morrissey. Swanson hands off. It's to Jackson. Jackson will lower his shoulder. Scooping up Jackson with his entire body is Joel Kafka, but Jackson continued to turn his body to the 21-yard line, and he was able to pick up a chunk of 14 yards.
And that was a great tackle by Kafka, because if not, Jackson was gone. So great job there by Kafka. That's what the safety for, the last resort in case anything like that happens. And this Saints team, this offense is rolling right now. We've seen straight runs, and we probably will see it for the rest of the drive.
3 carries, 29 yards for Jackson so far. Hesitation will be handoff to the outside from the far side back in Tristan Davis. Davis is trying to carve out a space for himself. He Julian's past the Purple Dragons defense and is short of the 15-yard line at the 16 following a gallop of 6 yards.
Well, we are seeing physical football right off the bat, Cameron. You're seeing bodies just flying all over from blocks, from everything right now. So we're just seeing some good November playoff football.
2nd down in medium situation, under 10 minutes remaining in this first quarter of action. Again, far side of the field is Morrissey. Handoff from Swanson. He'll give it off to Jackson, who's shy of the 10 at the 11-yard line. That's a gain of 6 yards. And again, another first down. Tom Nicholson in the front part of this Purple Dragon defense trying to solve the mystery against this Saints offense.
I don't think it's a mystery at all, Cam. I think it's just how powerful and how big that front line is. I mean, they are just pushing all these Purple Dragons back right off the snap.
And as you said, Alex Mann is currently being attended to at the trainer's table, having his ankle taped. It will be Swanson on the option read, dives back inside in between the hash marks across the 10 to the 8-yard line following a gain of 3 yards. 2nd down and 7 to go. 0-0 is the score from Overland Park, Kansas.
Man, getting that foot attended to like you mentioned, but yeah, look at the Saints wasting no time. They're up on the ball, 9 minutes and counting. Probably see another triple option offense as they've been doing that all night, all season long.
Jackson is the deep back at the 10-yard line. Handoff is not to Jackson. Swanson will keep it himself. He dives for the end zone, stretch out his arms, and he's in for a touchdown. St. Thomas Aquinas strikes first, and the 16th rushing touchdown on the season by Swanson makes it a 6-0 score. 8:51 remaining in the first quarter of action. The Purple Dragons offer no resistance to what was a very, very great opening drive for this St. Thomas team.
Well, Cam, and that's the senior quarterback protecting the football by dialing his own number. And that's what happens when you have faith in a senior quarterback like that. He's going to take it himself. Took a couple hits while he did it, but he found the end zone to give him up 6-0.
Tate Raboyne will be the holder. The kicker for Aquinas will be Joe O'Leary. O'Leary awaits the snap. Pass is bobbled, and Drew Rolfs is trying to wrap up Raboyne, and Raboyne is able to sneak out. He goes across the 5. St. Thomas Aquinas providing a surge for Raboyne. Raboyne looks to be short, so the PAT is no good. 6-0 is the score. The Purple Dragons end up getting one right back in their favor, but the St. Thomas Aquinas Saints strike first at home in the round of sectionals in the Class 5A state tournament. We will step aside and bring you back more Purple Dragon action on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
Advanced technology, comprehensive quality care. That's Canar Eye Care. We have the newest technology, but we never lose sight of what's most important, our patients. Eye care has changed dramatically in recent years, and we've been there for you every step of the way. At Canar Eye Care, patients spend time with doctors. Total eye care from contact lenses, including bifocal contacts, treatment of disease, and surgical co-management. Canar Eye Care, the clear choice.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
Now back to Dragon football.
Entering this contest, the last 4 opponents the Saints have faced, they have outscored their challengers 212-60. Let's correct that. It is now 218-60 as Swanson, the quarterback for this Saints team, scampers in from 8 yards away to make the score 6-0 following the PAT that was muffed by the holder in Raboyne. And a kickoff from O'Leary by the Saints. The ball will undulate through the air. It goes end over end and hops out of bounds at the 12-yard line. So the Dragons will have decent field position for their first offensive possession. And we will get a good look at this Saints defense for the first time tonight, Avi.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. And I mean, one thing that's sticking out to me right now is that this Saints team is having classroom session there down on the field as they are, looking over what it is. They don't got the Xbox out playing games, Cameron. They're learning on their mistakes. They're learning to get better by fixing their offense to make it better. But now we've seen 2 kickoffs that have mishaps by the kicking team. And so now both teams will start in great field position. The Purple Dragons, remember, 1-play drives they had so many times last week. Let's see if they can do it again.
Chase Curtis, the senior quarterback, hikes up his right leg. He'll send Corbin Jefferson in motion. Handoff to Brandis Evans right up the middle. He fights past 2 different Saints defenders across the 40 to the 42-yard line. A strong run by Brandis Evans, and that incites a giant cheer from the Purple Dragons fan section early on. 2nd down and 4 to go following a gain of 6 by the junior fullback.
Yeah, first of all, shout out to this PHS faithful crowd coming to drive the 2 hours to come see their kids play what could be the last time. We're moving on to the next round. But yeah, great run right by Evans.
3 wide receivers set, shotgun formation for Curtis. He has 2 towards the near side of the field. Curtis takes a shot deep. It's a Dylan White who had the ball right in his breadbasket, but it slipped right in front of him as the ball whisked in between his elbows that were nearly together, and instead it is an incomplete pass. It will be 3rd down and 4, but the Dragons not afraid to take shots deep and trying to reel back. Catching up to Dylan White at the last second was the free safety and Jared Flood. Now, this Saints defense has somewhat been hampered by the fact that their junior Division I recruited cornerback in Jaden Russell is out. So the Dragons will take shots downfield early and often. I formation, twin wing set, 1 towards each side of the field, and some movement on the line. And it will be against the Purple Dragons, so losing 5 yards following the call.
That one's going to hurt the Purple Dragons, as now it's moving them back to a 3rd and 10. And so, yeah, very important there.
So now it is a 3rd down and 9 for the Purple Dragons, who trail 6-0 currently, 8:14 remaining in this first quarter of action. Curtis comes down the shotgun formation. Tripped receivers nearly stacked towards the far side of the field. Movement again on the offensive line by the Dragons, and the noise is getting to this Dragon team, and it seems that there are early jitters from this Purple Dragon squad. So back-to-back false starts by the Purple Dragons. Instead of it being a 3rd down and 4, it's a 3rd down and 14. Avi, you said it at the beginning of the broadcast, discipline.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know Coach Nicholson is not happy with 2 easy mishaps. But that's what happens when you come up to a huge school and play a team like this. The crowd goes nuts. They cause problems. I guarantee you that offensive line can't even hear Chase Curtis calling the play.
Trips towards the far side of the field.
There it is again.
On the offensive line again, as Dylan White jumped early. He was the far side receiver, and now Chase Curtis and Tom Nicholson will talk with the down judge. who said, hey, it was the cornerback who had crossed the line of scrimmage and White was reacting to it. He brushes both people off, and now it will be another 5-yard loss. 3 consecutive penalties, 15 yards total. It is a 3rd down and 19 from the 26-yard line of the Dragons. Miscue, 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 and it most likely will result in a deep pass unless Coach Tom Nicholson wants to play it safe early on.
And I bet you that's what he might do, is just run a halfback draw, play it safe. Or, I mean, when you got Dylan White, you could air this thing out.
3-down lineman for the Saints. Handoff is to Corbin Jefferson, who cuts right up the middle of the field. He's on the left seam, and he stopped at the original line of scrimmage at the 35-yard line.
Came out.
And I think the ball did come out as the officials are now congregating around the football, which is spotted at the 35. They will say the ball is dead, and it looks like the punting unit for the Dragons will make their way out onto the field. The normal punter is Jelani Long, but he has missed the last 3 games due to injury. So Chase Curtis will be back handling punting duties, and it will be Flood to return for the Saints. He's starting to backpedal across the 35 to the 34. Helmet high snap for Curtis. He gets off a rugby-style punt that takes a hop at the 35-yard line, trickles past the 30 to the 20 in the wind, which is assisting him just slightly. Moves the ball inside the 20 to the 18-yard line of the Saints. 6-0 is the score under 7:30 remaining in the first frame of action. Purple Dragons trail.
And I tell you, Cam, you know, Chase Curtis being the punter could be something a little interesting we might see later on in the game, as he ran the rugby-style punt, and so you could see a fake out of that. So keep that in the back of your head, as we might see that one more time later on in the game. But meanwhile, this Purple Dragon defense, they got to get going because the Saints offense looks good.
Morrissey lone wing towards the near side of the field. Drew Rolfs is laying off of him by about 7 yards. Under center is Swanson. Swanson turns around. It will be a fake. Swanson keeps it himself. He'll cut back across the 20 and stop short of the 25 at the 24. Still a gain of 6 yards on first down. We've seen either a gain of 5, 6, or 10 4 to 5 times so far in this contest by the Saints.
And you know, Coach Dreiling and company aren't mad about that. Every time you get positive yards, you're going to move the chains. And not only that, they're taking down the clock as much as they can too. But they're wasting no time, Cam. They're up on the ball before 20 seconds on the play clock.
Hicks to the left of Swanson. It's a strong right formation. The additional tight end and Joseph Clune. Swanson hands off up the middle. Jackson trying to bowl forward, and there is more pushing from the Purple Dragons and the Saints as the play was whistled dead. Chase Johnson ended up stepping over one of the Saints players for half of a second before the officials had to blow the whistle once more. It was Wyatt Keenan, the offensive lineman for the Saints. 6:48 remaining in the first quarter of action. 6-0 is the score. The Saints lead. Swanson again lines up under center. To his right side will be his halfback and Tristan Davis. Swanson lobs it up on an out route. It is caught in the open field. Drew rolls, or I beg your pardon, Joel Kafka makes the tackle, and the fans are wanting a horse collar, and I think they are validated in their screams. Drew Hicks caught the football as he's pushed out of bounds at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough call to make. It was on the run like that. I thought he had an arm around the shoulder pad, and which, as long as that is over the shoulder pad, it's a clean tackle.
6:33 remaining in the first frame of action. 6-0 is the score. Dragon trail. Swanson under center from his own 46-yard line. It will be a deep pitch. He has Hicks. Hicks turns on the thrusters. He has a little bit of a crevice as he stopped past the first down marker, and he's in Purple Dragon territory at the 42-yard line following a gain of 12.
But again, Cam, I got to credit Kafka with the last-second tackle, because, again, if Kafka doesn't make that play, we got another 6 points on the board.
So, Avi, play coach for a moment, if you would appease me. Instead of having 4 down linemen for the Dragons, why don't they drop a linebacker back to have 4 linebackers awaiting a runner?
Well,
especially if you're not winning at the point of attack up front.
I'll let you call this play first, then I'll come up with my decision.
6 minutes remaining in the first quarter of action. Swanson relaying an audible as Jackson scoots up forward. That's an inverted wishbone now. Taking it himself will be Swanson. He has lead blockers before he's tackled, wrapped up around the ankles by Peyton Steele, and Jarek Butcher finishes the job short of the 35 at the 37-yard line, right in between the hashes.
So the reason that the 4-3 defense is what Coach Nicholson's going to stick to is because you're supposed to have the linebackers fill the gaps. And so by dropping another man back to be the linebacker is an open gap for even a quicker yarder than necessary.
5:30 remaining in the first quarter. Swanson, play action, looks deep, plenty of time, rifles a pass, and it is caught by the tight end in Clune. Clune in the open field. He breaks out of one tackle by Chase Johnson before Chase Johnson is finally able to grapple and hook himself, really anchor himself at the 20, use his body weight, and drop Clune at the 23-yard line.
Well, that was quite the play. And honestly, Cam, on the way up here, you told me about Clune. You're like, hey, he doesn't get the ball much, but when he does, look out, as he is a big old boy just running down the field. And who's going to get in that man's way?
He's basically another offensive lineman, but he has some great catches this year, including 1 touchdown.
And there was one right there.
Hicks fakes the motion. Handoff is not to Hicks. It will stay with Swanson. Deep pitch and running with the football, trying to pick up harder yardage is Davis as he's tackled at the 15-yard line by Drew Rolfs and Dylan Jordan.
Well, you know, everything's going good for the Saints when a hiccup play like that just happens and they make positive yards out of it. That was unbelievable, as we thought that was going to be a bad snap, a fumble, and then all of a sudden Swanson got it, pitched it to his man, and they got positive yards.
And Swanson acted like he had mishandled the football, and that caught the Dragons defense off guard. From the 16-yard line of Pittsburg High School, Swanson, deep pitch, Jackson, he tries to weave through the thicket of Purple Dragons. He's carrying Joel Kafka across the 5 to the 4-yard line. Jackson is alone as he picks up 12.
At a first down, 4:19 on the clock. Saying that they're looking so good right now as the Saints is. This defense, they've got to find something. I think Jarek Butcher's got to be that spark plug and to turn something around for their defense.
4 down linemen for the Dragons. Jordan showing a blitz towards the near side of the field. Hicks faced the motion again. Handoff. Jackson leaps into the end zone for the second Saints touchdown of the ballgame. Swanson with 1, and then Jackson hops in from 4 yards away. And then a very respectful move as the golden helmeted halfback hands it off to the back judge. Very kind, amicable fashion, and a 2-point conversion may be attempted by this Saints team as Swanson will enter the field and the huddle once more with 4:06 remaining. The score is 12-0. Jackson with the 4-yard rushing touchdown. Swanson trying to get all of his troops organized. Play clock at 7 seconds. Swanson lines up under center. 4 down linemen for the Dragons. Linebackers showing blitz. Swanson keeps it himself. He had a wide open crease towards the far side of the field. The tight end and Clune picked up a block, and then the wide receivers did an awesome job blocking upfield. Swanson scores on the 2-point conversion. 14-0 is the score. 4:06 remaining in the first quarter of action, and the Purple Dragons will have to find something offensively to keep them in this contest. After this 30-second commercial break, we'll bring it back to Overland Park. You'll listen to your home of Purple Dragon Athletics on ESPN 100.7.
Stop in at Bo's One Stop for everything from gas to groceries. Bo's has drink specials daily from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. In a hurry, grab a hot cup of coffee and hot breakfast or lunch from the deli and watch for daily specials. Bo's One Stop also has fishing supplies. Bo's One Stop is really just that, your one stop for all your in-the-hurry world with great friendly service. Bo's would like to congratulate the Pittsburg High Dragons on a great season and continued success in the playoffs. Before you head to the game, stop in at Bo's One Stop on 4th Street, Pittsburg. Go Dragons!
Now back to Dragon football.
Scoring drives for the Saints, only about 4 minutes apart. 14-0 is the score. St. Thomas Aquinas leads by 2 possessions over the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons at home. It is the round of sectionals, the number 2 and number 3 seeds. Saints, the higher seeded team in the East, taking on the Dragons, as the crest at center field is a cross and shield. The symbol for St. Thomas Aquinas is O'Leary will absolutely wallop the football on the kickoff. It will be a touchback. Corbin Jefferson just turned his head and watched the football nearly graze the upright.
Well, here you go. Pittsburgh now steps back on the field, and Cameron, if the Purple Dragons want to do something here, I think is they got to air this thing out. But I mean, you look at their first drive, they would have had a first down. Their drive would have kept going if they didn't have the 3 penalties.
3 penalties, 15 consecutive yards pinned against this club, and then the Dylan White drop pass. It just seems the Dragons are cold, if you will, early on in this ball game. I formation, Brandis Evans the fullback. Ty Cicero comes in motion. D-line will leap from left to right, trying to defend the run. Handoff is to Brandis Evans, and the Saints are right there at the point of attack. Avi, you and I have seen Brandis Evans absolutely mollywop and bowl over defenders. I think this is the first time this season that we've seen a defensive line absolutely stymie the big fullback.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I found the reason why is as soon as a offensive player shifts, that whole defense shifts as well. As you saw one player tap a shoulder, and then everybody just shifts on down, and that's what caused only a 2-yard gain.
And you wonder if any misdirections or counterplays from Coach Nicholson is in the fold following that. Two-wing set, near side receiver is Zachary Sutton on the out route. Sutton catches the football at the 25. He carries one defender and is clocked by the second, flying in from the top of the field, and tackling Sutton on the play was Bo Masonheim.
Yeah, that was a big hit by Masonheim, and you look at him, you thought he was like a safety or something, but no, he was a linebacker that was taking his time getting over there, and when he got over there, he made an impact.
First down for the Dragons in this contest. The ball is spotted on the near side hash mark, closest to the Saints sideline at the 30. Brandis Evans subs out. Ty Cicero subs out. 15 seconds on the play clock as Dylan White, Landon Conrad, as well as Brett Wiemers checks in. Chase Curtis breaks out of the huddle. He has 5 seconds to get the play off. 4 wide receivers set. 3 seconds on the play clock. 2 seconds on the play clock. 1 second on the play clock. Curtis, wide receiver screen, finds Brett Wiemers. Ball is free. It is a fumble. Ball is scooped up by the Saints, then lost by the Saints. And it looks like St. Thomas Aquinas has recovered. Flood with the football, and a huge error by the Purple Dragons, trailing by 14. And St. Thomas Aquinas, in striking distance, could make it a 3-possession game. And St. Thomas Aquinas' offense now makes their way back out onto the field. It has been a very methodical approach. Let our offensive line do the dirty work. We will attack in between the tackles and guards. And if we have to run outside the numbers, it will be with our speedster. Last time out, it was a Jackson 4-yard touchdown run.
The Saints team is just looking so good right now as Swanson tosses it immediately to the left side.
And it's Davis. Davis weaves past the 10, spin move in the open field near the sideline, and he's down at the 3-yard line after a gain of 12 on the sprint. This Aquinas offense absolutely electrifying with their ground game athletes from the front line to the backfield. First and goal from the 3-yard line. 2:30 remaining in the first quarter of action. The Saints had the chance to go up by 3 touchdowns. Swanson with Jackson in the backfield. Handoff is to Jackson. He plunges into the end zone. He does break the pylon. Jackson, his second rushing touchdown of the ball game, this time from 3 yards away, and the Saints capitalized off the Curtis DeWeemers fumble.
That's huge, Cam. That is big. Can't have it. I don't know. It's like this Purple Dragons team's depleted right now. They gotta find some way to pick it back up, as they know what other teams have been like, as they've been destroying other teams early in the first quarter. But there's plenty of ball game left to turn this thing around. But the way the Saints are playing, I don't know if that's possible.
O'Leary lining up his PAT attempt to snap the hold. The kick is up, and it bounces off the left crossbar and goes in. A serendipitous kick, but not a serendipitous fumble recovery. All talent and all Saints so far in this ball game. 21-zip is the score. 2:20 remaining in the first quarter of action. The Purple Dragons will be right back on offense following this 30-second commercial break on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
Paynes Incorporated in Frontenac is the driveline specialist. Paynes handles all driveline repairs for cars, trucks, 4-wheel drive vehicles, and farm equipment. Paynes can also handle any general machine work and offers 24-hour wrecker service. Call Paynes anytime, 231-3170. Paynes Incorporated is located at the intersection of West McKay and Highway 69 Frontenac Junction. Paynes Incorporated in Frontenac is the driveline specialist.
Now back to Dragon football.
This Saints team ravenous so far. 21 points, 1 forced turnover. It was a fumble as Chase Curtis felt pressure coming into the backfield as he tried to find Brett Wiemers on a wide receiver screen. He lost the football. Flood recovered. Jared Flood was able to set up his team from inside the 20-yard line of the Dragons. Jackson did the dirty work, plunging in the football from 2 yards away. 21-zip is the score. Jackson with 2 rushing touchdowns. Swanson with 1 rushing touchdown. And the kick from O'Leary goes end over end, high into the night sky. The stanchion lights illuminating the football field here in Overland Park, Kansas, in a touchback, as it was Brett Freeman who wanted to return the football. But Avi, we've seen miscue after miscue in this contest by the Purple Dragons, and it's only been 2 offensive drives.
Yeah, and that is what's killing them, and that's why the score is 21-0, Cam. You cannot have these kinds of hiccups late in the season like this. It's playoffs for a reason. They've been so disciplined all all playoff long, and now here they go having easy hiccups that they just can't have.
3 false start penalties on their opening offensive drive, and then the fumble last possession. In motion from right to left is Sutton. A misdirection is a play action. Curtis looks on the run, lobs it up to Sutton, and it's almost intercepted. The ball was overthrown. Zachary Sutton thought he had a play on the football, but instead leaping up, nearly making the interception towards the near side of the field was for the Saints, Sam Wolf, the senior.
Yeah, and that should have been a gimme pick for Wolf as he looked watched that thing all the way in, but I think he was preparing for his next move before watching the ball come in. Purple Dragons dodged the bullet there.
2:13 remaining in the first quarter of action. The Dragons faced with a 2nd down and 10 from their own 20-yard line. 2 wings set. Delayed handoff is to Corbin Jefferson. Jefferson lowers his shoulder and then trucks forward, and he pedals across the 25 to the 26-yard line. 3rd down and 4 for the Dragons with 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
And Cam, again, this Purple Dragon offense, they are getting the yards. I mean, they're getting positive plays against this defense. They're just making their own costly mistakes that's hurting them.
Curtis comes back to the huddle as Dylan White breaks out of the circle of Purple Dragons and lines up at the 25-yard line, checks to see if he's onside, trip stacks towards the near side of the field. Wide receiver screen shown, instead it'll be a handoff, and the Saints read it from the beginning. Corbin Jefferson had nowhere to turn to in this Saints defense, harassing this Purple Dragons offense, and at the point of attack to make the stop was Dan Bullock.
Now here comes the special teams here for the Purple Dragons. They're going to have to punt this thing away. And you can tell the frustration by this team is they got to get something going because now 1:12 on the clock, and this Saints team's going to get the football again in the first quarter.
Flood wheels back to his own 48-yard line. Curtis, rugby-style punt that goes end over end. Fair catch is called. A hop at 45, a fortuitous hop that continues to find its way deeper into Saints territory and picked up at the 35-yard line. Under a minute remaining in the first quarter of play, the Saints up 3 possessions. You score here and you may completely deflate this Purple Dragon team. A stop is a must.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's got to be that one player that's got to turn this thing around for this Purple Dragon defense, and I think, like I said, it's got to be Jarek Butcher. He's got to be the one to turn it around, get these guys going, because if they don't, it's going to get even worse for this Dragon defense.
Butcher lined up on the right hash mark at the 42-yard line of the Saints. The Saints begin their 3rd offensive drive from their own 36-yard line. Swanson has a 1 wing set towards the near side of the field as C.J. Eddy, the junior, is lined up. Jackson in the backfield. Hicks comes in motion. Swanson on the read, pitches it out to Hicks, block upfield. Chase Johnson was wrapped up. Hicks across the 50, the 45, the 40, and finally tiptoes out of bounds. And he's out of bounds exactly at the 40-yard line, following a pickup of 24 yards in this Saints offense, gashing both the interior and exterior of this Purple Dragon defense. They cannot get a beat on what this St. Thomas Aquinas team is going to do.
Yeah, that's killing them right now, as that triple option has just been so dominant against anyone all season long. So they only have 1 loss, Cam, and they're continuing it tonight.
And Swanson, a very cerebral quarterback, making all the right reads. Davis comes in motion. Swanson pitches it to Davis at the last second. A beautiful flip. He's across the 30, cuts back in between the numbers at the 20, and finally stopped. A tackle made by Jarek Butcher. But what a pitch by Swanson as the pocket collapsed immediately so that the offensive lineman could get to the 2nd level. Swanson over a Purple Dragon defender's head, flipped the football like it was a hacky sack, and then it was caught by Davis, who sprinted towards the near boundary for a gain of 20 yards.
That was just crazy. I don't know how that play kept going the way it did. Unbelievable.
Swanson in the Notre Dame colored uniform, similar to the Irish with the navy blue tops, gold bottoms, navy blue socks, and gold helmet. Swanson turns around, deep pitch again, is to Travis. Travis across the 20, at the 15, down at the 14, following a gain of 6 yards.
And there you go. They're continuing to drive, and they could run one more play here. Let's see. It's going to be a 2nd down. They're going to put it out of bounds. See if they run the clock with 13 seconds left. The Saints knocking on the door in the red zone yet again.
2nd down and 3 to go. The Purple Dragons have just succeeded so many rushing yards in this contest thus far. Clune will line up as a receiver. It's a 2 wing set. Hicks goes in motion. It's a deep pitch. Hicks has some lead blocks. He makes one hard cut, but it's tackled right at the line of scrimmage. Chase Johnson and the Purple Dragons defense did a great job of following the triple option and then providing a barricade so that Hicks could go nowhere. At the end of one, 21-0 is the score. The Saints are taking advantage of this Dragons team that has made so many mistakes in the first period of play. Tom Nicholson's group looking to shore up those miscues in the second quarter of action. We will step aside for 30 seconds to bring you back more action from Overland Park, Kansas. You're listening to the home of Purple Dragon Athletics on ESPN 100.7.
At Performance Spine and Sports, Dr. Bennett specializes in soft tissue-related injuries that result in everyday work and play. Performance Spine and Sports' goal is to improve your overall physical performance with faster recovery. Dr. Bennett specializes in cryotherapy and active release techniques, which is a combination of examination to locate the specific injured tissue. Most NFL and NBA teams utilize this technique. Performance Spine and Sports and Dr. Bennett, bringing big city relief to injuries in Southeast Kansas. Performance Spine and Sports inside Meadowbrook Commons at Centennial and Broadway in Pittsburgh.
Now back to Dragon football.
And we welcome you back to Overland Park, Kansas. 21-0 is the score. The Saints lead alongside Avi Sharma, Caleb Withnow, and Shelby White back at our KSHQ studios. I'm Cam Molina. The Dragons with a fumble in the first quarter of action, a drive that consisted of 3 consecutive false starts, and the Saints absolutely dominating up front. Avi, this Purple Dragons team just seems lost.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, unusual and lost is the correct way to put it, Cam. They are not themselves right now, and that's what's hurting them, and that's why they're trailing 21-0 right now.
21-0 is the score. Swanson hands off to Jackson. Jackson is able to turn the corner, wheel in between the right hip of the center and the left hip of the right guard, and picks up maybe 4 or 5 yards on the play. And it looks like it is a first down, and so it was a gain of 5 to move the chains, and that was a good opportunity for the Dragon to stop this nearly unstoppable ground attack of the Saints.
Yeah, absolutely. Thought it was going to be the one. Actually, I was fooled. I thought it was going to keep going to the outside, but it was a great play by the Saints team.
1st and 10 from the 10-yard line of the Dragons. Swanson takes it across the 10, the 5 spins out of 1 tackle and is down at the 4-yard line. So it is actually 2nd down and goal. It was not at the 10.5-yard line, 11-yard line, if you will. I thought the sticks would be put at the half-yard line or 1-yard line. Instead, the officials made it 1st and goal. Now it is 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line of the Dragons. Ball is on the right hash mark in what is a very cold November game.
You couldn't have said that any better, Cam.
I know you're trying to fiddle. You took off your shoes and tried to readjust your toe warmers as Swanson turns around and hands off to Jackson, who's fighting against Chase Johnson. Breaks the tackle. Is he in for a touchdown, though? I think he's shy. He is. It will be 3rd down and goal from the half-yard line. The Dragons need to make a stop here and make a stance that may proliferate throughout the rest of this game.
This is a statement play right here. If you're this Purple Dragons team, you need something, and this would be the time to do it.
Jackson, the feature back. Hicks is towards the left of Swanson. Right is Davis. Swanson on the QB keep. Is he in? He is. A touchdown for the Saints. Swanson, his 2nd touchdown of the ball game. 17 on the season. The score now 27-0, and the Dragons defense absolutely apathetic in this contest.
And that's your typical quarterback draw when you're at the 1-yard line, but instead it's a diving quarterback. But like I said, Cam, when you got faith in your senior quarterback like that, he can go do anything.
So Swanson scores from maybe a half-yard away, if that, and the score is now 27-0 to begin the second quarter of action. O'Leary on to attempt the PAT. 10:30 remaining in the first half of play as O'Leary awaits the hold. The kick is up and is easily able to splice it, but now a flag comes in late, and the referee is now waving his arms. And I wonder if we will have a re-kick. No, both sides are making their way towards their benches, so it may have been an offside on Pittsburgh, as the referee will go talk with Coach Dreiling, and I think it was an offside by the Dragon, which will most likely be declined to make the score 28-0. Either way, we will step aside for 30 seconds to bring you back more action from Overland Park, Kansas, as the Saints lead 28-0.
Grilling season's year-round in these parts. You can almost hear the sizzle of a juicy steak. Don't forget to check your propane levels, and if you're low, it's time to head to Kirkland Welding Supply. Most 20-pound grill tank exchanges contain only 17 to 18 pounds of propane, but at Kirkland's, when you get your grill tank filled, Kirkland's will fill it to 20 pounds. Why pay for propane you aren't getting? Kirkland Welding Supply, 3rd and Joplin in Pittsburgh, and at 1301 East Wall in Fort Scott, open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday and 9 to noon Saturday.
Now back to Dragon football.
The Dragons, who were very energetic and exhilarated to participate in their 3rd sectional competition in the last 4 years, have been anemic in this contest. 28-0 is the score. Alongside Avi Sharma, Caleb Wetnow, Shelby White back at our KSHQ studios. I'm Cam Molina. Better kickoff position for O'Lear and the Saints. At the end of the PAT, O'Lear was run into, so the ball placed on the tee at the 35-yard line.
Discipline, Cam. Discipline has been killing the Purple Dragons all night long.
5 penalties in this contest, 25 yards. And O'Leary sends it away, and the ball will go into the back of the end zone for a touchback. And the ball even takes a hop in the end zone on the end of the Saints and high-fives the bottom bar of the field goal post. 28-0, Avi, at this point in time, you're still in contention to come back and win this game, but you have to make something happen. There has to be a catalyst for you to be able to come back into this contest.
It takes one person, one play, one drive, something to turn things around. And, you know, there's one guy that can do it. I think it's Dylan White. You give him the chance to get downfield, he's going to turn things around for
He's
him.
lined up one-on-one towards the far side of the field. Handoff is to Brandis Evans. He is immediately shored up. Maybe a favorable 1-yard spot on the run as Anthony Gaona was there on the tackle. It was a pickup of 2 exactly, so 2nd down and 8 following a medium-sized run. And I understand Coach Nicholson wants to continue with this balanced attack. If you continue to run the ball up the middle, you soften up the interior, you go with the play action, you pass the football. It's a pretty basic formula, but the Saints are absolutely dominating up front. Do you tend to pass more in this situation?
I think you got to, Cam. I think the wind's in their back a little bit here. They can air this thing out. And, I mean, they're running one-on-one coverages. It's a cover 3 over the top, but it's giving you that advantage to probably get something, but the Purple Dragons are actually going to call a timeout and think things through.
So Coach Nicholson will use the first timeout of the ball game, and we will keep it here in Overland Park, Kansas, to provide you with a few updates from around the Kansas area. Frontenac is leading Holton in the 3rd quarter, 41-13. In addition, my old alma mater in Mays High School was trailing last time we checked against Bishop Carroll 7-0, and then St. Mary's Colgan leads Centralia 17-8 at halftime. And this would be of interest to Purple Dragon fans, as this would be the matchup for either the Dragons or St. Thomas Aquinas, depending on the outcome of this ball game. Shawnee Mill Valley is up on Lenexa St. James Academy 7-0. Mill Valley obviously has been a perennial powerhouse over the last 4 or 5 years, and well, they won the state tournament back-to-back seasons, and now they are in prime position to do it again.
Make that 10-0 now, Camo.
Under 10 minutes remaining in the first half of action. 28-0 is the score. Saints lead. 2 wide receiver set. Dylan White is one-on-one. Curtis all day. He's hit, lobs it up, and it is incomplete. And the Saints were not fooled in the slightest. Landon Conrad was the intended target, and Landon Conrad was lined up towards the left of the far left hash nearest the Saints bench. I would say a good 20 yards away from the line of scrimmage, or where the offensive linemen were at, where the football was at to be more specific. And then he tried to run a post pattern over the middle of the field, but the free safety and Flood dropped back and nearly picked off the football on a diving attempt. At 3rd down and 8, 9:46 remaining in the first half of action. Corbin Jefferson realigns himself to the left hip of Curtis. He has 3 wide receivers. Curtis, 3-step drop, looks, pressure coming over the middle. The football is caught by Dylan White. White tries to use his speed, but he's dropped at the 25-yard line. First down marker at the 31-yard line. Only a pickup of 3, and that will bring up a 4th down.
Yeah, the Purple Dragons here, you got to find a way to get something done. They couldn't. They thought I had a little dragger out. The Speed Demon and White could not get anything going. They're going to have to punt this thing away to an offense that's just absolutely on fire.
Flood is back to return, and he is backpedaling on the shield logo of the cross and shield at center field, which is outlined with yellow. The fill is white, and it's entirely engulfed by a navy blue circle. And the scrub-like kick from Curtis takes a hop at the 46-yard line, scooped up by Flood, and he falls down right at the 46-yard line, I beg your pardon. So the Saints will now begin what is their 5th offensive possession from their own 46-yard line, a short field to work with, under 9 minutes remaining in the first half. And Coach Dreiling, who has won 7 state championships, if he's able to continue this play and continue to hype up his kids and maintain this level of excellence heading into semifinals, if they happen to win tonight, I think this team has a good chance of making it to the state championship.
Absolutely. They are just firing on all cylinders tonight.
Hicks goes in motion, and I think it was a false start or an illegal motion by the Saints. It is a false start by the Saints. I don't think Hicks was entirely set when he came in motion.
Well, I've noticed a little bit a couple times here. The Saints team, they do get a little antsy, and so they get that little jump step before the snap to get themselves going. But that's what happens whenever you got that motivation going a little too much, Cam, is they got to find a way to slow themselves down.
So Swanson will go down to the turf momentarily, slap his hand on the turf, or pick up something from the turf. I don't know what exactly it was from our perspective. We are on top of the press box at St. Thomas Aquinas High School, but he has a one-wing set towards the far side of the field. Swanson will keep it himself. He wheels in between the right hip of the center and the left hip of the right guard, empowers forward shy of the 40-yard line in Purple Dragon territory at the 43.
Swanson took a hit right there. My goodness. He was able to get back up. He's okay, ready to go. But he is just a tough kid. He's a senior for a reason. My goodness. But this Saints team is just rolling, Cam.
Swanson will line up under center once again. Hicks goes in motion from left to right. Swanson play action. He is walloped by Dylan Jordan. Ball's loose. Scooped up by Ty Cicero. Cicero continues to rumble across the 20 to the 15. It is finally wrapped up in a correction. The fumble was recovered by Bentley Bokout, and Bokout takes it all the way to the 15-yard line of St. Thomas Aquinas. And Avi, you said it last drive, and all it takes is one play to bring you back into a ball game, and this may be the catalyst for the Dragons.
That's exactly what it is, Cam. You see now what was the dead sideline, the dead crowd who was just all quiet, their heads down, and then all of a sudden a huge hit and then a big play for this Purple Dragon team, as they have all the momentum in the world now because things have turned. Now they have a chance to do something, and they're looking pretty good.
Dylan Jordan forcing the fumble on the play, recovered by Bokout, who took it all the way to the 14-yard line of the Saints. White comes in motion. Dylan Jordan comes in motion. Curtis will lower his right shoulder, and he stops short of the 11-yard line at the 12, a pickup of 2 yards. Last week, Jordan had a 68-yard rushing touchdown. That was really sweet. He was towards the far boundary against Turner, and then on a dime, pivot and spun into the middle of the hashes and went into the end zone for 6. A really, really cool play, and he's been used in the offense more as of late.
Well, they're going to need to do something here, Cam. As you know, they got that big turnover. That's great, but now you got to get in the end zone.
Jordan lines up one-on-one towards the far side of the field. Curtis turns, 3-step drop, fade route. Jordan turns, jump ball, and it looked like it was intercepted for a fraction of the second by Wolf, and then Wolf dropped the football at the end of the play. A great defensive play by the left side cornerback.
That's Wolf's second pick that he has dropped now, as he had a gimme on the sideline earlier about the 40-yard line, and there's one in the end zone that he just didn't have. Chase Curtis just saw one-on-one coverage, and he just flung that thing up, and it ended up being an incomplete pass, and luckily not an interception, so they dodged the bullet. Now they're facing a 3rd down.
And it was a good location, too. It was near the outside shoulder of Jordan. He tried to contort his body, was unable to bring it in. Curtis, slip screen. He has Corbin Jefferson. No one in front of him. Daylight for a Purple Dragon touchdown. 28-6 is the score. A big play by Dylan Jordan, forcing the fumble. Bokout takes it inside the 15 of the Saints. Allowed Chase Curtis to pick up his 15th passing touchdown of the season. 7:35 remaining in the first half of action. 28-6 is the score. Dragons still trail, but this is a step in the right direction.
That is what you need right there, Cam. That was a perfect halfback screen as it worked out very, very well. Doing a good job to get themselves on the board at the 12-yard line.
Neef, the PAT is up. And it is good.
On the baseball field over there.
28-7 is the score. A 3-possession differential between the Saints and the Dragons. The latter trails, however, that could be the impetus. The Jordan forced fumble. Bocout takes it back. Corbin Jefferson, Chase Curtis hook up from 11 yards away. We will step aside for 30 seconds to bring you back more action from Overland Park here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
The true test of a great insurance agency comes when you suffer a loss. It's easy to take your premiums, but Ray Ryan of Ryan Insurance of Pittsburgh knows that handling your claim is the most important service an insured needs.
Claim is our chance to let the customer know that we'll be out there, not just that we sold them a policy, we'll also be there when a claim occurs to make sure it gets handled in an honest, respectable way.
Ryan Insurance of Pittsburgh, a trusted choice agency. Find them fast in names and numbers.
Now back to Dragon football.
Dragons finally get a break their way. Dylan Jordan forcing a fumble against Swanson, who was absolutely lambasted on his blind side, dropped the football. It was recovered by Bocout, who took it nearly all the way into the end zone, but was tackled inside the 15. Chase Curtis found Corbin Jefferson on a slip screen from 11 yards away on a 3rd down and 8 to make the score. 28-7. Neef with a high arcing air kick that is picked up from the 15-yard line. It was airlifted momentarily by Davis, who hopped up to pick up the football. He's across the 30 to the 34-yard line as he ran nearest the left hash marks toward the Purple Dragon benches. And slow to get up is Davis as he's limping into the huddle now with his gold cleats. But Avi, a great possession by the Dragons to score. Defense stepping up in a big way. Swanson, quarterbacks, sometimes they're fickle. You don't know exactly how they're going to be able to handle a particular situation. Swanson, as Coach Dreiling said, probably the smartest quarterback he had, but now it comes down to the emotional appeal. Will he be able to control himself following the fumble? Jackson with the carry. Then the big man runs across the 45 to the 50 into Dragon territory, pushed out at the 46-yard line as he was able to scamper for 21 yards. Jackson, what a load he is, and the garbage truck runner is able to fly through all the Purple Dragon trash in the open field and pick up 20-plus yards.
First of all, what a reference, Cam. Second of all, what a run. That was just phenomenal. But, you know, I think you mentioned right before the snap is Swanson's got a, you know, that was a blindside hit. That wasn't really on him. That's just something he can't control. But we'll see the emotion and we'll see what he can do after responding to that. So far, they're looking good.
28-7 is the score, a 21-point lead for the Saints. Handoff to Jackson again, and the big man crosses the 40 to the 39-yard line after a pickup of 7 yards.
Well, you know the famous quote, Cam, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's exactly what this St. Thomas Aquinas team is doing as they are continuing to just ground and pound. We've seen 2 passes so far. You might see it again, maybe a little bit later, the unexpected, but that when this offense is clicking like that, just keep pounding.
Swanson again, 3 halfbacks set in the backfield. Hicks is to his left. In motion comes Davis. It will be a handoff to Hicks, who tap dances in the backfield. A flag comes in as Hicks is stopped across the 35 to the 34. A 5-yard pickup that would move the chains, but it's dependent on what the flag is, and it came in after the tackle, and it seems to be on the Saints. And it will be a holding call.
It's going to push him back, and that's, you know, that's a break right there. As that's something the Purple Dragons need. Is they need these guys to go backwards instead of forwards right now. Lucky break there, but you know that this Saints team's going to get those yards back as best as they can.
If you are just joining us on the dial or on our web stream alongside Avi Sharma, Caleb Woodnow, Shelby White back at our KSHQ studios, I'm Cam Molina. The Dragons and the Saints clashing in the sectional round of the Class 5A State Football Championship. Saints lead it by 21, 28-7. A fumble by Curtis set up a touchdown. Swanson scored the opening game touchdown, and then Jackson has 2 rushing touchdowns as it's a pitch to Davis. Dylan Jordan trying to usher him out of bounds. He does so after a gain of about 6 yards.
Starting to see a little bit of chippiness, Cam. It's what happens when you play some playoff football. Some of these guys are giving a little late shove or something like that. But regardless now, here's a third down, something we haven't seen too many times from this game so far for this Saints offense. We'll see who wins this battle. This is a pretty big one.
Swanson, one wing towards the far side of the field. Pitches to Jackson. He runs into a horde of Dragons, and it looks like Jackson is shy of the marker. And flying in to make the initial tackle was Nathan Neath, the defensive lineman. He was followed and flanked by Daniel Eichenberger, and then Jarek Butcher finished off the play, and it looks like 4-down territory for the Saints as the student section that traveled 2 hours to reach Overland Park from Pittsburg, Kansas, is now on their feet screaming. 4th down and 2. The Dragons with a chance to make a big stop. Swanson, hard count, nearly drawing the Purple Dragons offside. I thought it was Ty Cicero for a second who jumped. Handoff is to Jackson. Stutter steps, and it looks like he's short. He is stopped at the 42-yard line. First down marker is at the 43, so it's turnover on downs, and the Purple Dragons defense comes up big once again. The offense looking to narrow the margin down 21.
That is huge. Now, not only did the defense has made 2 huge drives now, and now this offense again, they have to connect. As you saw, the halfback screen worked out just fine, as I thought it could have been an even longer touchdown if they were farther away. So here you go, PHS. Your defense did the job yet again. Now it's your turn.
White again, one-on-one coverage towards the far side of the field. He's paired up against Wolf. Wolf lays off about 10 yards away. Handoff to Brandis Evans. An off-tackle runs. He's running east to west across the 40 and out of the 39-yard line. And the Saints sideline wants a hold, as on the backside, I thought it was Braden Letterman who may have held.
The Saints, not only does the Saints sideline want a hold, but this crowd wants a hold as well, as they are screaming for it, and they're not getting it. But, you know, this has got to be a big drive for both teams now, as it's a statement drive now.
Evans, a pickup of 4 on the first down run. It is 2nd down and 6 from the Dragons' 41-yard line. On the left hash, Marcus Curtis with his black wristband that has all the plays on it now relays the message from Coach Nicholson to the rest of his confidants. 3 wide receivers set. In motion from left to right is Dylan Jordan. It's an end around, allows for the blocks to develop, but then he stumbles at the 40-yard line and is tackled as he tries to cut upfield at the 42. A 1-yard pickup, but a flag came in before Dylan Jordan slipped, and I think that would be holding country. It is a hold on the Dragons. 6 flags thrown against the Dragons today.
Cam, you cannot. Your team's looking good right now. You cannot afford to waste it with some bad penalties, and that's one of them right there. But Jefferson had nowhere to go as he actually tripped up on himself and then fell down.
5:30 remaining in the first half of action. A 21-point lead for the Saints, and a hold will force the Dragons back further into their own territory at the 32-yard line. So instead of a 3rd down and probably 4, to 2nd down and 15. Defense made a big stop about 2 minutes ago on a 4th down and 2, shearing up Jackson in the backfield. Dylan White one-on-one towards the near side of the field, 2 safety deep. Wide receiver screen caught by Dylan White. He cuts back at the 40-yard line again, makes another strong cut, and is dropped at the 45-yard line. A gain of 13. It will be a 3rd down and 2 or 3 situation for the Dragons on a 3rd down opportunity.
Cam, I tell you, I think White made a little one too many moves on that play, as he could have actually used his speed to take off and get more yards. So instead of doing one more shimmy, he could have got a couple yards and got that 1st down. But regardless, now you're looking at a 3rd and 2.
Cameron Jackson was in coverage. White cut in between Jackson and the right hash, and if he would have just turned on the thrusters, it would have been a big gain. I formation for Curtis, turns around, option read. Curtis now pivots, tries to cut back to the middle of the field, and a strong second surge by the Dragons, and it looks like the football is spotted at the 48-yard line, which would move the chains, and it does. So the Dragons seemingly, every time a 3rd down is upon them, it's either life or death, especially the situation at hand right now, down 21. And now some Dragon players slow to get up, and a good sign of sportsmanship from the Saints, who help up Chase Curtis as well as Ty Cicero.
I tell you, Curtis was very slow to get up right there. My goodness, that was a brilliant play, though, by Curtis, as it was an option to the left, nothing doing, so he immediately turned it back to the right side, fought for those yards hard as he had all of his gang right behind him, pushing him away to get the 1st down.
Purple Dragon fans towards the far side of the field, decked out in their purple blankies, which you and I both wish we had.
Absolutely.
Jefferson in motion. Over the middle is Zachary Sutton. He was wide open along the far side seam, but it's an incomplete pass. And the throw was off kilter by Curtis, who threw it behind his senior wideout. And if Sutton had caught that, he would have been popped immediately. But if the wideout had been able to hold on to the football in that hypothetical situation, it would have moved the chains.
Well, I think that was actually a great throw by Chase Curtis. Even though it was an incomplete and off of him, if you would have threw that thing in the danger it one, it could have been intercepted, 2, a batted up ball, or 3, a big hit, which you don't want to have. So I think it was the right decision by Chase Curtis.
Jackson drops back in coverage again, one-on-one towards the near side of the field against White. Curtis, split backs in the backfield. Evans to his right side, Jefferson to his left. 5 seconds on the play clock. Hiking up his right leg is Curtis. 2 seconds, 1 second. Fake is to Brandis Evans. Curtis runs it on his own. He tries to cut back, makes one defender fall with a juke move, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage at the 48-yard line. And it just seemed that play really had no purpose.
Yeah, I don't know if that play was actually intended, Cam, as I thought that from the looks of it, it looked like Curtis wanted to hand that thing off. And it ended up being just a sweep to the quarterback keeper, which obviously Curtis didn't want to do. So now a 3rd and 10 again. They're going to have to air it out, but you're seeing this press defense is up tight, cover 2.
Curtis takes a snap. He will roll near side. Landon Conrad asks for the football. Curtis loads up, cocks it deep to Dylan White. Jump ball is broken up, but a pass interference flag is thrown, and now White pushes Wolf. And there is no flag following that. A little bit of chippiness between White and Wolf. And I think Coach Nicholson was a little frustrated with White because that could have been a flag against the Dragons and it would have been offsetting penalties. But that will give PHS a first down.
Now hang on, Cameron. Not only is there a flag over at the 12-yard line, there's a flag over here at the 41-yard line. So we potentially could see a holding penalty as well as the pass interference. We'll see what they come up with.
And therefore, you would imagine offsetting penalties if that is the case. But Coach Nicholson is the only one that is being spoken to right now by the down officials. So you imagine it may be 2 penalties on the Saints. And it is 2 penalties on the Saints.
Roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer and pass interference against St. Thomas Aquinas. The former is declined. The roughing the passer, the latter, is accepted. It will be a first down and 10 for the Dragons. And they've had several things go their way the last 2 offensive drives. Obviously the fumble by Swanson and then a first down conversion by Curtis on a 3rd and short. And then again the roughing the passer call, I beg your pardon.
Well, I tell you, what started this drive is what I think is the big motivation was that defensive stand on 4th down. Absolutely huge for this Dragon defense. And now this Saints defense is going to have to get something going as they're now playing hiccups and they're messing things up. So we'll see if they can rebound.
Conrad, the receiver, towards the near side of the field, lined up against Jackson. It's an I formation, twin wing set, and Chase Curtis is now making a call at the line as he points to his helmet, and the referee, the back judge is now allowing the play to go.
He had to pick up his flag.
Yes. Curtis turned around, delayed handoff to Brandis Evans, and Evans maybe picks up a yard.
Cam, I'm still stunned. Like you mentioned earlier, Evans is just a tank that just keeps on going, and yet we have seen Evans get a positive gain over 5 yards, which is rare.
Very rare.
Absolutely rare.
2nd down and 9, 3 minutes remaining in the first half of action. 28-7 is the score. The Saints lead, but the Dragons are driving on a 2nd down and 9 from the 37 of St. Thomas Aquinas, nearest the right hash mark. First down marker is at the 28-yard line. Curtis hikes up his right leg and a 2 wide receiver set, one towards each side of the field. Curtis snipes it. Out route. Dropped by Dylan White. And White, that's his 2nd drop of this ball game. He had one during the opening possession for the Purple Dragons that was right in between his arms and then just fell to the turf. And then the last pass by Curtis, it was a late cut out of an out route by Jordan at the 20-yard line. He hit his knees to try to make a catch. A perfect throw by Curtis, only where White could catch it, but it was a drop.
Okay, I got to tell you, I think the weather's affecting that for White because normally it's a nice warm day for him. He makes catches like that and he keeps going. But on a cold night, that ball is even harder as he tried to hang on to that one, and we got a penalty immediately.
Offsides by the Saints, and trying to run up was Corden Harris, the sophomore cornerback, filling in for Russell the last couple of games for this Saints team, and he was well offsides.
Well, there we go, Cam, and now you see some of the Saints coaches now getting onto their players. It's discipline for them now. They're making easy, costly mistakes, so what should have been a 3rd and 10 is now a 3rd and 4 at the 32-yard line.
Will Flood, the free safety, a senior on this team who has played excellent in this contest, looking over at the young sophomore who's filling in again for Russell and saying, hey, use your head as he's motioning towards the right side of his helmet. It's 3rd down and 4 from the 32-yard line of the Saints. 3 wide receivers set. Jefferson comes in motion from left to right. Play clock under 10. Now back to the left side of Curtis is Jefferson. Curtis snaps, look, hitch route, caught by White. White is behind the sticks as he caught the football. It will have to be a very, very beneficial spot for the Dragons if the chains are moved, and they are not going to get it. It is a 4th down and inches. White, for some reason, ran all the way back to the football as Curtis put it right on the numbers.
Well, normally in hitch routes, you want to take at least 1 or 2 steps back to come get the ball before the defender runs up and sneaks up on it. But White, as soon as he did it, he caught it. He did what he did last time. He made too many shimmy moves, and that's what caused him not to get in the yard. So now 4th down, and we'll see if the Saints can make a big defensive stand.
4 down territory for the Dragons. 2 receivers set towards the near side of the field. Curtis on the QB sneak has more than enough to move the chains inside of the 30-yard line of St. Thomas Aquinas, down at the 27 with under 2 minutes remaining in the first half of action. Saints lead at 28-7. Both of these teams, when they've had a chance to shine offensively, it's been with methodical drives, winding down the clock, keeping the ball out of the other team's hands, using that ground and pound style of offense to wear down the defensive line and then strike towards the latter part of the sequence.
And Cam, I can promise you, as soon as it was a 4th and inches, I bet number 18 down there ran up to his coach and said, hey, let me run this and let me get it, because that's the kind of guy and the captain that Chase Curtis is.
White one-on-one again. 2 safeties deep for the Saints. Handoff is to Corbin Jefferson. An off-tackle run as he winds towards the far side of the field, and then he is undercut. His left hip slamming into the turf as he was tackled from underneath by Sam Wolf, the senior cornerback. 3rd time we've called his name tonight.
Yeah, that was just a design play all the way. It looked like the Purple Dragons trying to catch him off guard a little bit as they've been airing this thing out a lot this drive. So try to catch him off guard with the run. Didn't happen that time. Great tackle there by Wolf.
Curtis shotgun formation once again. To his left is Brandis Evans, right is Jefferson. Curtis one-on-one, out route again. White, ball popped up and it is dropped. White, that was a very risky throw by Curtis to White, and in coverage on the play was Harris as he makes up for that offsides call a few plays back.
3 drop passes by Dylan White. Very unusual, and as soon as he got up on that play, he patted his chest and he said, that's all on me. And Cameron, you got to be careful. As I mentioned, that ball was popped up in the air. That was almost intercepted.
3rd down and 10, and you would be interested to see if the Dragons are unable to convert here. Is it 4 down territory, or do you send down Nathan Neath, his long this season, 40 yards? Curtis rolls, pressure, steps up, throws it, jump ball, and it is caught by Brett Weimers, but then broken up at the end of the play by Flood.
Saying he's down. They said he was down.
Wow, and that is an interesting call. Weimers had the football. It never looked like his knee touched the ground, and the ball was swatted out of his hands, but the ball spotted at the 20. It will be 4th down and 3, and there is a Saint slow to get up, and he is hobbling back. It's Bo Masonheimen.
Yeah, Masonheimen is hopping, and he is hopping bad, Cameron. He actually has to come off the field. He is hurting. But, you know, it's 4 down territory, it's playoffs, and the clock is continuing to wind. Keep that in mind as there's 5 on the play clock.
12 seconds in the first half. Curtis turns. Zachary Sutton, double move. Curtis lobs it up. End zone, overthrows him, but a flag on the play, and I think it was a hold by the Saints near the 10-yard line, but only 6 seconds on the clock. You may have one more strike if you're lucky, if you are the Purple Dragons, and then you may have to resort to Nathan Neath.
But Cam, I tell you, that was a absolute beautiful play call by Coach Nicholson. That hitch and go, because the Dragons have been running hitches all night long. That little hitch right there and the easy, that was why is the hold that happened right there. And I bet you, I think that was Wolf that got called for that hold.
I think so too, and now it looks like the special teams unit is coming out onto the field. I cannot see Chase Curtis in the huddle from the spot of the football right now. it would be right at the 10-yard line, which would be about a 27-yard field goal. Not very much wind, but it is a cold night, so the ball is going to be harder. Your leg not going to be as warm, so that flexibility is in question for Nathan Neef.
Keep this in mind, Cam. The Purple Dragons get the ball at half.
Neef lines it up, gives a big thumbs up to the snapper. Kick is up, and it doesn't look good, and it is short. I don't think it was tipped. I think Nathan Neef got way underneath the football, kicked it up straight in the air, and he is absolutely furious with himself as he unclicks the straps of his helmet and nearly takes it off and slams it. But now he's walking back towards the huddle as he is a defensive player at the 10-yard line, and Nathan Neef looked like he had what would be a great play to send the Dragons into halftime, only down 18. Instead, you're down 21.
Yep, and I think that's still a victory though for the Purple Dragons. They got down the field, they traveled down there. They're going to get the football back at halftime, as it looks like the Saints are going to take a knee here and move this thing into half, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
Swanson will take a knee, and at halftime the score 28-7. The Dragons allow an opportunity to slip out of their grasp, but an entire second half of action as new life was breathed into this Dragon team following a fumble by Swanson. But this St. Thomas Aquinas team, Avi, firing on all cylinders with their ground game absolutely omnipotent. Up 21 points right now. We will step aside for the SEK Urgent Care halftime report, and in 2 minutes we will throw it back to Pittsburg, Kansas at our KSHQ studios, where Shelby White will greet you all. You're listening to home of Purple Dragon Athletics on ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters.
Welcome to
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust? They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Headquartered in Richmond, Kansas, QSI Quality Structures Incorporated specializes in designing and building complete post-frame buildings. We provide structures built to withstand a 30-pound ground snow load and a 90-mile-per-hour wind shear built to the most stringent codes. Whether you need a garage, agricultural building, commercial facility, or custom-built design, we're your one-stop shop for post-frame buildings. QSI. Everything we do is right on cue.
It's a feeling you get the moment you step on campus.
It's the knowledge that you become part of something more.
We're a family of Crimson and Gold.
Every day we challenge ourselves to achieve more.
The reason why we're here is to make a difference.
Everybody wants to stand out.
Without standing apart.
You belong.
At Pittsburg State University.
Crawcan Telephone Cooperative has been serving Girard in southeast Kansas for 65 years. In 1952, we helped our members connect with each other using telephone lines. Today, we connect our members with the entire world using fiber optics. While the technology has changed, our commitment to deliver it to our members has not. Check us out on the web at ckt.net.
Time. St. Thomas Aquinas leads 28-7. Going to get you some other scores from around the state of Kansas as we are in playoff time, going from 6A all the way down to 8-man. First up that we have in 6A, in 5A, St. Thomas Aquinas, as I just mentioned, leading Pittsburg 28-7. Shawnee Mill Valley is leading Lenexa St. James Academy 13-7. That is also at halftime. An 8-man 2 final, Pike Valley shuts out Hutchinson Christian Central 52-0. Pike Valley will advance to take on Hanover next week. Again, the final there, Pike Valley 52, Hutchinson Central Christian 0. Late in the fourth quarter in 2-1A, Centralia has come from behind to lead Colgan 18-17 at halftime. Colgan was up 17-8. So a tight game in Centralia with Centralia leading Colgan 18-17. A 3A quarterfinal say that 3 times fast. A 3A quarterfinal game final. Silver Lake traveled to Galena, which is just south of us here on Highway 69, and then hop on Route 66 and go east a little ways. Silver Lake beat Galena 13-6. Silver Lake 13, Galena 6. Silver Lake will take on the winner of Sabetha and Osage City next week. Another 3A quarterfinal final. Phillipsburg defeats Heston 47-7. Phillipsburg will play the winner of Cheney and Marysville. An upset in 8-man Division 1. Local 8-man school of St. Paul defeats Osborne 35-24. The Indians defeat the defending state champion to advance to the semifinals for the first time since 2002. Again, St. Paul 35, Osborne 24. The Indians upset reigning 8-man Division I state champion Osborne. Other halftime scores in Class 4A 1A rather. Andale is up 25-0 over Andover Central. Andale 25, Andover Central 0. In 4A2, Holcomb is up 20-0 over Smoky Valley. Holcomb 20, Smoky Valley 0. Another 8-man 1 score at halftime. Spearville is up 14-12 over Central Plains. Spearville 14, Central Plains 12 in 8-man 1. In the fourth quarter in progress, Frontenac, for the third consecutive year, traveling out to Holton to take on Holton. And in the fourth quarter, Frontenac leads 55-13. That's another 4A Class 2 final. A 4A1 halftime score. Scott City is up 7-0 over Clay Center. And in 2-1A halftime, it's a tight one, 0-0 at halftime, with Olpe leading Jefferson County North. The winner between Olpe and Jefferson County will take on the winner of Centralia St. Mary's Colgan. 6A quarterfinal, second quarter scores. Blue Valley North is leading Shawnee Mission East 28-3. Olathe North is up 14-10 over Blue Valley. And Lawrence Free State is up over Derby 21-14. Area scores in 4A1. Fort Scott playing DeSoto. And they are... Fort Scott playing DeSoto. DeSoto is up 28-0. That game is in DeSoto. Mays South playing McPherson. And this one is at Mays South. That one is also tied 7-7. And Bishop Miege, Shawnee Mission Bishop Miege, is leading Labette County 34-7 in the second quarter. We're going to step aside for 2 minutes, and then we will come back. I will give you some more scores. You are listening to the SEK Urgent Care Halftime Report.
Hi, this is Dr. Brent Cousins with SEK Urgent Care. When you're sick, when you're injured, or when you just don't feel like yourself, SEK Urgent Care is here for you. Let our skilled providers treat your non-life-threatening illness or injury at a fraction of the time and cost of an ER visit. Located at the corner of Centennial and Broadway in the Meadowbrook Commons. Open 7 days a week for your convenience. SEK Urgent Care, where your family and time matter. Find us fast in names and numbers.
Customer first, safety always. It's not just a tagline, it's the Watco way. By focusing on safety, each and every day they build a future by protecting their customers, team members, community, and the environment. When Watco moves commodities by rail, river, and road, at home or across North America and Australia, their priority is to ensure that they deliver their loads safely and on time. Watco wishes all area teams a safe and successful season.
Grilling season's year-round in these parts. You can almost hear the sizzle of a juicy steak. Don't forget to check your propane levels, and if you're low, it's time to head to Kirkland Welding Supply. Most 20-pound grill tank exchanges contain only 17 to 18 pounds of propane, but at Kirkland's, when you get your grill tank filled, Kirkland's will fill it to 20 pounds. Why pay for propane you aren't getting? Kirkland Welding Supply, 3rd and Joplin in Pittsburg, and at 1301 East Wall in Fort Scott, open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday and 9 to noon Saturday.
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust? They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Does your current checking account pay you up to $15 per month? With Common Sense Checking at University Bank, you can earn up to $15 per statement cycle, 10 cents for each swipe after the first 15 swipes. Qualifying is so easy. Simply have one direct deposit or auto payment plus 15 debit card purchases each statement cycle and a $100 opening deposit. Stop by the bank for more information about our Common Sense Checking. Then swipe and save. It's convenience that pays at University Bank. Branch GMB, member FDIC.
Now back to Dragon football.
Welcome back inside the sports headquarters. I'm Shelby White for your SEK Urgent Care halftime report. Halftime quarterfinal in 8-man Division II. Otis Bison is up over Ingles 44-6. Otis Bison 44, Ingles 6. At halftime, at Bishop Carroll leads Mays 17-7. That's a 5A score. Bishop Carroll 17, Mays 7. 4A D2, 4A Class 2 rather. Hayden is up over Burlington 27-8. The winner of Topeka Hayden and Burlington, the winner of that game will take on the winner of Frontenac and Holton. And speaking of Frontenac-Holton, that game just went final. Frontenac defeats Holton 55-21. The Raiders advance to the semifinals for the first time since 2000. And as I mentioned, Frontenac will take on the winner of Topeka Hayden and Burlington. At the end of regulation in 2-1A, Plainville and El Saline are tied 20-20. They're going to overtime. And the last 5A score that we have, Goddard at halftime is up over Eisenhower 21-7. In 6A, Wichita Northwest is up over Garden City 35-0. Lawrence Free State and Derby are tied now 28-28. And in 4A D2, DeSoto is shutting out Fort Scott 35-0. Well, that's all we got here. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break, and then we'll send it back out live to Overland Park to finish up the game with Avi Sharma and Cam Molina. You've been listening to the SEK Urgent Care Halftime Report.
What does it take to have a truly positive reputation? At Vogel Heating and Cooling, we know reputation is earned by consistent performance, by serving our customers' best interest, by providing top-quality, energy-efficient ream equipment and service for Southeast Kansas homeowners. Vogel Heating and Cooling is a Ream Factory authorized dealer and has been serving the area for over 20 years. Turn to the experts. Turn to Vogel Heating and Cooling.
I had no idea you did that.
That's what I said when I learned CDL does more than just electrical work. Like plumbing, heat and air, security cameras and alarms, generators, solar panels, even signs for my business. CDL really is one company that has a solution for about everything in my home and business. Learn more at cdlsolution.com.
Now
accepting new clients. At the Pet Care and Surgery Center, Dr. James Clark believes all of our pets deserve kind, humane, and loving treatment. From a simple checkup or rabies vaccination to performing major surgery. Plus, Dr. Clark has boarding, grooming, nutrition, and wellness checkups. Dr. James Clark can provide that loving member of your family with the treatment they deserve. Call 620-308-6454 to set up an appointment or simply visit petcarecenter.org. Pet Care and Surgery, making a difference.
Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing can tow all cars, trucks, and some semi-tractors and trailers in town or cross country. Larry Barrett has emergency wrecker service for all accidents, 24-hour towing. Been in an accident? Then call the pros. They have quality auto body repairing and painting from certified technicians for all major and minor repair jobs, and they can deal directly with the insurance companies, taking the stress out of your life. Go to barrettbodyframe.com or stop in and see them at 1601 East 27th Street Terrace or call 232-9400. That's Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing. Customer service first. See them fast in names and numbers.
Hi, this is Dr. Brent Cousins with SEK Urgent Care. When you're sick, when you're injured, or when you just don't feel like yourself, SEK Urgent Care is here for you. Let our skilled providers treat your non-life-threatening illness or injury at a fraction of the time and cost of an ER visit. Located at the corner of Centennial and Broadway in the Meadowbrook Commons. Open 7 days a week for your convenience. SEK Urgent Care, where your family and time matter. Find us fast in names and numbers.
Now back to Dragon football.
And we welcome you back to Overland Park, Kansas on a very cold November night alongside Avi Sharma, Caleb Whitnow, Shelby White back at our KSHQ studios. I'm Cam Molina. At the break, 28-7 is the score. The hometown Saints lead the Dragons, and it was an onslaught of an offensive assault coming from the Saints. Avi, they started the contest off very well. They moved the football with their quarterback Swanson, their halfback Jackson, en route to an 8-yard touchdown to start this contest. Jackson was able to score a touchdown from 4 yards away to put the Saints up 14-0 following a 2-point conversion from Swanson. And then Chase Curtis on a lateral pass to Brett Weimers on a screen attempt. It was a fumble recovered by the Saints. Jackson would score from 2 yards away, and that would bring it into the first quarter of play. 21-0 was the score at that point. And then Swanson scored from 1 yard away to make the score 28-0. But Chase Curtis and Corbin Jefferson following a fumble by Swanson as he was absolutely walloped by Dylan Jordan, forced the fumble. Bocout picked it up, took it back inside the 20-yard line. The Dragons were able to capitalize, but then Nathan Nee, right before the intermission, missed a 27-yard field goal, hence the score on the scoreboard. But Coach Tom Nicholson just bringing his boys out now, about 2 minutes remaining before the second half kickoff. There must have been a lot said in that locker room. What do you think was said?
Well, one, stay warm. Both teams are in the locker room warming up. And two, it's, hey, we're not out of this game at all. You are down 21 points, and the way they played, you know, I will say that the Saints won the first quarter, but PHS for sure won that second quarter, Cam. They looked absolutely good. They looked like the PHS that we knew, and we've been calling all year long. And if you're Coach Nicholson, you're saying, hey, we're not, this season's not over with. Do you want your season to be over with? Because you have 2 quarters left of possibly your career. Again, you're never going to step on this field again, so make sure that you guys play your butts off. And then if you're Coach Dreiling Company, you say, hey, we played very bad that second quarter. We can't afford that, or this team's going to sneak up and get this one. We need to do our best to win this thing.
And it's very interesting how you worded it. This could be some player's last game. Coach Dreiling mentioned that exact same thing, as did Coach Nicholson. They are trying to instill in their players not so much the playbook, not so much we have to win, but this is the time of your life. This is a time you will reflect 20, 30 years from now. Remember the time you went to state and had a chance to vie for a semifinal opportunity or a state championship opportunity. Many of these players have to live in the moment. Chase Curtis was able to live in the moment with the touchdown pass to Corbin Jefferson, but Dylan White, one of his star receivers, has dropped the football 3 times, and again, it may go back to the cold, but the execution has to be far more crisp in the second half for Pittsburg High School.
Well, Cam, I'll tell you from a player's perspective right up. You know, I've been on this field in 4 years, and I miss every second of it. There's no feeling like it with your brothers, if you will, that are out there having a blast with them. You know, you get so close with them, you enjoy every second of it, and then it's gone. It's something that you'll never get back again, and it's something different when you go play college ball. You go to college, it's not there anymore. And so they want them to live and love every second of this while they can. If there's one thing that, you know, Coach Nicholson has preached all year long that he's going to preach, especially tonight, 4 quarters. You have to play all 4 quarters if you want to win this thing. So, you know, first and second quarter out of the way, you're still in the game. You got 2 more quarters to go.
You even miss it on nights like this where it's freezing
Absolutely.
cold.
Absolutely.
You are a madman. I remember in high school, I ran cross country. I was not the physical type. I did not want to bang into anybody. I did not want to run into anybody. So watching these guys on Friday night was somewhat awe-inspiring. Just seeing these guys crash into each other and leave it all on the field. And that's what both sides will have to do, just leave it on the field. O'Leary is set to kick the football away. The black tee is placed at the 40-yard line outside of the yellow accented circle, which is also filled with that navy blue color and the cross and shield in the middle. One quick shout out, Mason City, Iowa, where Nolan Peters is listening from several hundred miles away. He's a former Pitt State student and a former announcer in the Pittsburg area, so he's able to tune in tonight and listen. He gave me a text and said, hey, everything sounds good. It sounds like a fun game, but we are ready to begin the second half of action. O'Leary boots it away with the right-legged boomstick. Jefferson, his very first return of the contest will be from the 1-yard line. Jefferson runs near sideline, and it looks like he was grabbed on the face mask. No flag comes in, so he will be stopped across the 15 to the 16-yard line. He should have just taken the knee in the back of the end zone.
That was a big hit on Jefferson too. My goodness, that was quite the whopping there. But now here we go. Both teams, they, to be honest with you, even though it was a missed field goal, both teams got to feel frustrated right now with how the second quarter ended. You know, this defense got pushed back several times, made stupid penalties. They're shaking that off and they're moving on. And then for this Dragon offense, you know, they got to execute and they got to hang on to the ball and they got to make plays to get in the end zone.
The Dragons in their white Adidas uniform embellished with purple numerals and a purple helmet. Chase Curtis will turn around, hand it off to Brandis Evans as the Dragon offense goes from left to right. Evans picks up 3 yards on the first down run. It is a 2nd down and 7 from the 20-yard line of the Dragons. And subbing in for Pittsburg High School will be Landon Conrad. And the air attack worked at times for Chase Curtis. It was not as successful as we've seen in the past, especially last week where he had 6 passing touchdowns. Obviously, the receivers are cold. Maybe the route's not as crisp. And we also saw a double move at the end of the first half by Sutton that would have resulted in the touchdown had the throw been on target. And around run by Corbin Jefferson. He will lower his right shoulder and try to truck stick 2 different Saints defender who completely turned him back around. Bo Mason-Hyman was there on the initial tackle.
Boy, Jefferson was just stuffed right at the gate right there. He had nowhere to go. Tried running that thing to the outside, using his speed, couldn't get it done. And just like that, we're facing a 3rd and 7 for the Purple Dragons. Not looking good as they got past the 20-yard line, which is good. But this Saints defense looking pretty happy about the outcome right now.
Curtis coming out of shotgun formation. 4 down linemen for the Saints. 2 linebackers showing blitz towards the far side of the field. Mason Heisen showing that he may come on the rush. Hard count from Curtis and an offside, potentially a false start by the Purple Dragons. Both sides jumped, and it will be a false start on Pittsburg High School. They had a drive, their opening drive, where they had 3 consecutive false starts, and then that time it looked like Dylan White and several other Purple Dragons jumped offsides all at once.
And that was Eichenberger who they're going to initiate the one on, as he was he hopped up immediately. And that is a penalty you can't have. You know Coach Nicholson's got to be frustrated about that because you can't have that in situations like this, especially with the ball so far back in your own territory.
A slew of Dragons jump. Eichenberger pin for the flag. It's a 3rd down and 10 from the 17-yard line of the Dragons. 3 wide receiver set. Curtis has time. Rifles a throw. Caught near sideline. Short of the 30-yard line. Out of the 28 is Dylan White. He was able to rope in the football that was right at his belt level. Corralled it and then took 2 steps in bounds and then stepped out of bounds. That will move the chain and put the football shy of the 30-yard line at the 28-yard line of the Dragons. Near hash mark towards the Saints sideline as many players are attempting to stay warm, crossing their arms over their body, jumping up and down, walking up and down the sideline in what is a very brisk November night. Curtis will line up under center once more, I formation. Twin wings towards the near side of the field, offset. Zachary Sutton is the nearest to chase Curtis. Curtis, turnaround. It is a play action. He finds Evans in the flat across the 30. Evans lowers his shoulder, and he's across the 35 and out at the 36-yard line. Wolf was there on the tackle, and Wolf about 5'6", 5'7", but he's very mean in the open field and was able to drop the big Evans.
Well, this is something I didn't think I was going to say, but Brandis Evans' biggest gain today has been on a pass play. Unbelievable to say, but Evans, regardless, getting 7 yards, and the passing game's been very strong for this Purple Dragons team. One thing I got to highlight right now is that Harris is guarding Dylan White. That is a big matchup.
One safety deep. Curtis, handoff to Brandis Evans as he wheels towards the outside of the field across the 35 to the 36-yard line. 1-yard pickup sets up a 3rd down and 2.
Evans carries again.
Time continues to move down. 9:15 remaining in the 3rd quarter of play. 28-7 is the score. Saints lead it by 3 touchdowns currently. Curtis talking with Coach Nicholson on the sideline. White subs out, and that typical long stride he has is shortened up slightly, and it's just a bitter cold. There's a slight wind. It's just very, very biting. 2 wing set, up back towards the right side is Ty Cicero. He'll motion over to the left as he leaps. He's the additional blocker. Strong left formation. Handoff, Brandis Evans, and a flag comes in. Evans would have been short of the 1st down either way, and the flag was thrown from the back side. So it's interesting to see who it will be on. It will be a hold on the Purple Dragons. Coach Dreiling will accept that penalty, regardless of the 4th down scenario that would be at hand.
Yeah, I got to take that penalty. I think it's a great call because, you know, PHS, I think they were going to go for it right there just because it was a 4th and short, but now it's going to put them back to a 3rd and long. But last time they were in a 3rd and long, they ran a corner out to Dylan White. It was successful. They got the 1st down. So we'll see what Coach Nicholson and company has in plan as now he gets a good long talk with the senior quarterback and Curtis and coming up the play call.
Landon Conrad has subbed out, and a quick substitution coming in for the Saints. Running off the sideline onto the field is Calvin Stokel. Corbin Jefferson in the backfield from the shotgun formation. Trips receiver set, 2 towards the near side of the field. Drew rolls the far side receiver. Curtis over the middle, tried to find Ty Cicero, but he was absolutely shored up. Cicero wants the flag for pass interference, and now the
late flag.
A very, very late flag from the line judge.
Well, this will be interesting.
It wasn't an ineligible receiver downfield, I think, is the notion from the officials. But that's weird because Cicero was on the line of scrimmage to start. And now Coach Dreiling is shouting at the officials, saying that he does not want to accept the penalty. An interesting circumstance as it's now 4th down and 14, and Coach Dreiling is saying, why would you throw that flag so late, regardless of who it's on, I guess. I'm not quite sure. It's kind of a muddled situation.
Well, I mean, we haven't even heard the PA announcer make any calls either, so I guess they're as confused as we are, but regardless, it's going to be a 4th down. Clock is stopped. I thought it was a good no call on both sides because it was within the 5 yards of contact range, but I didn't understand the late penalty. I'm not sure what it was.
Flood is back to return. He steps on the cross near center field. He wheels back to the 50-yard line, and it looks like there will be a timeout. There is, used by Coach Tom Nicholson and the Purple Dragons. 8:25 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Dragons trail by 21. We will take a 30-second commercial break and bring you back to Overland Park, Kansas following these messages. You're listening to the home of Purple Dragon Athletics on ESPN 100.7.
Marone's Food Service Incorporated wishes the best of luck to all area athletic teams this season. It has been their pleasure to provide great quality food products to area schools, colleges, and universities in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. Marone's Food Service is proud to be a 4th-generation family-owned and operated business with over 80 years of service to their customers, employees, families, and communities. Good luck to all area teams from Marone's.
Now back to Dragon football.
The playoff runs have been very wealthy for this Saints team. How about 2012? This team lost to Bishop Miege, the eventual runner-up in Class 5A. Aquinas made it to the 5A state championship in 2014 as Curtis fakes the pass and then will rugby-style punt. The ball takes a hop short of the 40-yard line and goes just shy of the 35 to the 36. And Curtis had the defense momentarily stiff and then was able to kick it away, but the defense was reacting to what Curtis showed. It was a good feint, but the Saints are going to use their first offensive sequence of this contest, led by Swanson, who had 2 rushing touchdowns to extend their lead. But to go back to the success of this Saints squad, 2014 made the 5A state championship game. They lost that contest by 32 to Bishop Carroll, but then Aquinas made the semis back in 2015, lost to Mill Valley, the eventual champs, and then lost to Mill Valley again last year by a single point, 14-13. Jackson on the first down run, an absolute mammoth as he plows through 3 different Dragons defenders and is stopped short of the 46 at the 45-yard line. After a gain of 9 yards, Jackson carried a guy for what seemed to be 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah, and you know, that's back to the roots now. Here we go with the Saints. They've been rolling. The second quarter, they were a little different. They couldn't get anything going, but now they start off immediately right here.
Davis comes in motion. Handoff is to Jackson. Jackson stiffs arms Chase Johnson. He breaks out of Jarek Butcher's tackle, and then Jackson fights for a 3-yard pickup. A lot of work to pick up 3 yards, but Chase Johnson was leveled by the Jackson stiff arm. It is a first down and 10. Nearly into Purple Dragon territory at the 47-yard line. And a reason why Jackson is so strong not only is because of his work ethic, but in his incredible talent, but the weight room that's illuminated right behind us. Weights upon weights upon weights upon machines in the St. Thomas Aquinas High School weight gym.
And Cam, actually, Jackson is hurting. He actually hopped off the field. He is now getting tended to, so we'll have to keep an eye out on that one.
Swanson with a hard count to start with, and then there is a stint in the middle by Neath. Jordan rolls out. In motion is Davis. Deep pitch to Davis. Jordan tries to form a seal, but Davis has some space. He's at the 40, tries to cut back in between the numbers. He does, maintains his balance. He's at the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, 1 man to beat, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown Saints. A 53-yard rushing touchdown, the longest rush of the night by either team. Dylan Jordan, slow to get up. He had to be assisted up by a Saints player. But what an excellent run by Tristan Davis. The senior, Dylan Jordan, thought he had sealed the edge and allowed a linebacker, maybe Jarek Butcher, to step up. But Davis made one strong cut at the 40-yard line and then just outran everyone.
Big play, absolutely big play. Thought things were going to get changed up since Jackson, the other running back, got hurt last play, but immediately, what a touchdown. And the Saints picking up where they left off in the first quarter.
O'Leary to attempt the point after. The kick is up, and he pumps the pigskin in between the uprights. 35-7 is the score with 7:01 remaining in the third quarter of action. The Dragons back in a very familiar situation. Coach Tom Nicholson talking with his guys on the sideline. We'll be back in 30 seconds with your home of Purple Dragon Athletics on ESPN 100.7.
If you're in the mood for shopping, visit Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall. Pittsburgh's original one-stop shopping center has a lot to offer. A great variety of clothing and shoes for the whole family, a large selection of gifts, sporting goods, events, and entertainment, plus terrific places to eat, and you can enjoy the newest movies in 8 theaters. Shop the comfortable and convenient atmosphere at Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall. There's always something happening at Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall.
Now back to Dragon football.
Tristan Davis did not want to be left out of the touchdown scoring party for the Saints as he explodes for a 53-yard erupting run. 35-7 is the score. The Dragons trail by 28, 7 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Obviously, the Dragons seem to be pretty headstrong on that last defensive drive. Jackson had a hard-earned first down. It seems the defense was really starting to dig in, but then Davis on a quick pitch to the outside from Swanson made some defenders in the secondary look silly and scored.
All it takes is one play, Camo. Well, I've said that time and time again, and that's exactly what happened. One play made the difference, and that's what ended up being 7 points for St. Thomas Aquinas.
O'Leary kicks it up into the air. Corbin Jefferson just going to watch the football go into the end zone. Really interesting fact that we heard at halftime, the St. Thomas Aquinas girls golf team winning the state title. Congratulations to them, one, but two, that was the 100th state title earned in St. Thomas Aquinas' short history.
Wow.
It's remarkable.
It's unbelievable
how well this team has performed. And on the sideline, as you pointed out earlier, Avi, Jackson, the fullback, halfback in this triple option being attended to right now. His right leg seems to be in a lot of pain as Curtis will line up under center in the I formation. He'll hand it off directly to Brandis Evans. Evans continues to turn his legs, and as he chugs, he picks up 4 yards shy of the 25 of the 24.
I still can't believe it, Cam Evans. That's his biggest gain of the night right there. He has had no success all night long. 4 yards, that's crazy.
Longest run for Evans, as you said, ties the longest run of the night for Evans. His longest play, 7 yards, when he caught on a quick pass in the flat, a dump off from Chase Curtis on a 1st down and 10. It is now 2nd down and 6 from the 24-yard line of the Dragons. The wind picks up in Overland Park. Jefferson comes in motion from right to left. Throw over the middle, and it's caught by Zachary Sutton, who crumples down to the turf short of the 35 at the 34 after being smacked in his left hip. And it looked like his leg gave out momentarily. He's fine, being helped up by a few Saints players, and that does move the chains. Some intermediate and short passes shown by Chase Curtis, not allowing the defense to react.
Cam Jackson is slowly getting walked over to this table. He is hurt bad.
It looks like the training table is now being filled with different kinds of medical professionals, or it will be, as one medical professional left. The trainer will come over from the sideline now as Curtis takes the snap, sells the hard pump fake, looks deep, and it's a deep throw down the sideline into the breadbasket of Dylan White. White, 10-5, touchdown Dragons! And that is the Chase Curtis, Dylan White hookup that you and I are accustomed to seeing, and it came at a very opportunistic time as the secondary for the Saints had a cover one. The safety was deep towards the near side of the field. It was one-on-one coverage against Wolf. Wolf was exposed, and it was a touchdown by White, a score of 63 yards.
You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot do single coverage against Dylan White. You just saw the Jets come on right there. A much-needed touchdown for PHS.
A big-time touchdown. Curtis to White makes the score 35-13, and a chance to bring it back within 21. Kick is up, nearly blocked, and Neath is able to scrape it in between the near side upright. The score 35-14 now following the 63-yard dime from Curtis to White. 35-14 is the score. 5:53 remaining in the third quarter of action. We will step aside for 30 seconds to bring you back more Purple Dragon football right after this.
Advanced technology, comprehensive quality care. That's Canar Eye Care. We have the newest technology, but we never lose sight of what's most important, our patients. Eye care has changed dramatically in recent years, and we've been there for you every step of the way. At Canar Eye Care, patients spend time with doctors. Total eye care, from contact lenses, including bifocal contacts, treatment of disease, and surgical co-management. Canar Eye Care, the clear choice.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
Now back to Dragon football.
Exploited, I think, is an apt word for the last scoring drive for the Dragons, as Dylan White absolutely exploited the left side of the field, sprinting down the sideline, and then Chase Curtis lofted up a gorgeous throw right into the hands of Dylan White from 63 yards away. 35-14 is the score. The Saints still lead. A lot of game left to be played with just under 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter of play, but that's a good start for the Dragons. The kick by Neath, a shallow kick that hangs momentarily, drops at the 10, scooped up by Flood. Flood allows his block to develop. He's across the 30. He has some room and dropped at the 36-yard line. If he had maybe a second more and had just a bit more of that experience, if you will, I guess just more of the mindset to explode through that hole, that would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. Got away with one there, but now here we go. This is going to be interesting. Davis will probably get the workload, but Tank Young, got to get the nickname for him, will probably now be the fullback in for Jackson because he is still getting tended to, so we'll see what this Saints offense wants to do.
In Jackson, it looks like his right leg is being looked at, and Tyron Young a.k.a. Tank on the official roster, and it's in quotations, Tank, the freshman, is in the backfield. Swanson hands off. There was a false start, no doubt, by the left guard for Aquinas and Alex Mann. So 5-yard back for the Saints. First down and 15, 35-14 the score, 5:44 remaining in the third quarter of action. The Saints have been nearly unstoppable on the ground, but the Dragons defense has been able to respond a few times, and it comes down to, can you get this team in a third down position and then stop them at that point? It seems third down is always the tipping point for this Purple Dragon team. They have to have that bend but don't break mentality. I know it's cliche, but I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we've only seen 2 passes today by St. Thomas Aquinas. So I mean, get them in their uncomfortable stage. Get them to where they had to throw the ball against your defense.
Swanson lines up under center. Davis goes in motion from right to left. And an offsides call, as you said, Avi, will go in play. So much like the first offensive drive for the Dragons in the first quarter of play, well, they had 3 consecutive offsides. No, and it will be an offsides on the Dragons. Oh, you said that. I don't know why I thought it was on the Saints, but an offsides against the Dragons evens it out to 1st and 10. But the Dragons, going back to that, mistakes in this contest.
Well, I mean, look at it. It could have been a 1st and 15. Definitely an uncomfortable territory there for the Saints, but now they're back to 1st and 10 where they want to be.
Swanson will take his time. He looks to his right side in a shift on the defensive line by the Dragons. Dylan Jordan showing a blitz towards the right side. It's a handoff up the middle to Tank, and then Tank maybe picks up 3 yards short of the 40 at the 39-yard line.
Even the PA announcer said Tank. So I was curious to see what you were going to call him by Young, just Tyron Young or Tank, whatever you're going to do. But 2nd and 4, again, Cam, this could have been 2nd and 11 if that penalty didn't happen there for the Purple Dragons.
2nd down and 6, and it's kind of ironic, his nickname, hence why he's named Tank. He's 5'6", 150 pounds, soaking wet. Swanson, coverage, deep, lobs it up, nearly intercepted by Joel Kafka. Kafka's dragged down from behind late after the whistle was blown by Tristan Davis, but Davis ran a wheel route and thought he had a chance to break through, but Joel Kafka was there nearly picking out the football. Swanson overthrew his target.
Well, there you go, Cam. Like I said, get him in uncomfortable territory to make it where they have to throw the ball. They haven't thrown the ball too many times this year. If you and I remember when I was talking, right, Swanson only completed about 50% of his passes all season long. So here's a 3rd and 6. Get him into a position where he has to make a play in the air game.
And with Jackson out, this is a situation you may not want to be in, especially with a halfback that's speedy like Davis, who needs to get to the outside and can't run in between the tackles much like Jackson does. Tanks in the backfield. In motion is Hicks. Swanson reading, pitches out to Tank. Tank tackled by Jarek Butcher at the 40-yard line and pushed well out of bounds. And tiny Tank Young was really overmatched by Jarek Butcher and his ferocity.
And this is the first time we have seen the St. Thomas Aquinas special teams punting unit come out on the field now, as they will have to boot this thing away. Huge shift and change there for the Purple Dragons.
And you talk about shifts and change. How about the wind of change as a gust picked up, and now the wind's blowing to the back of O'Leary. Excuse me, Kenny Gavin, the punter, I beg your pardon. So Gavin's back at his own 25-yard line with the wind still hanging around. Low snap. Punt is up, and a beautiful punt that takes a hop just past the 30. Ball scooped up by Jefferson at the 25. He tries to run outside, but thinks it better to cut in between the hashes. He's short of the 35 at the 33-yard line. A 1st down and 10 for the Dragons in their own territory, but good field position for Tom Nicholson's group. Last time out, Dylan White took the top off the defense. Like many times we've seen this season, he's nearing his 10th receiving touchdown on the year. He's at 9 right now. And then Chase Curtis throwing his 16th passing touchdown of the season. He has 2 in this ball game. The passing game could be what this team relies on from now on.
One-on-one coverage again over there, Cameron.
Curtis with the shotgun formation.
Right at him.
Looks far side. Dylan White, his 4th drop pass of the night, and the ball was thrown right to his face mask and then just bounced off his stone hands.
Well, that time White was looking for his next move before even bringing the ball in, so that was completely all on White, as that was a great pass by Curtis. That would have been some big yardage, because now this secondary has, if it's White on that side, they're pushing back 10 yards to give him that cushion.
Well, you see Curtis and Coach Nicholson picking on the sophomore corner in Harris. bit more unexperienced than his junior counterpart in Russell, who was injured early on in the season and has some D1 offers already. Handoff is to Brandis Evans. It's an off-tackle run. He tries to cut it back in between the hashes. He's down at the 40 to the 41-yard line. He was stumbling forward at the 38, maintained his balance, and then was speared down across the 40 at the 41-yard line.
My favorite thing about that play is Evans was going down, but still wanted to make contact with the defender. And so while he was going down, he made the attempt to hit him to make sure he says, hey, I'm still that guy, even though I'm not getting my yardage.
Football players are a breed of their own.
Yeah,
I don't see how you, who weighs maybe 20, 30 pounds less than me, was able to do so. Curtis pressured, rolls, far side, more pressure, steps up, lobs it up, and a smart throw as he tosses it away. He was well outside the tackle box. It's a 4th down and 3.
That is an absolute great call. He was for sure out of the pocket. That's no, and actually, hang on a second. They're going to throw that.
And the late flag comes in from the referee. Coach Nicholson not saying anything. It would be a loss of downs. And it is an intentional grounding call. No one was in the vicinity of the throw. And I think that is what the officials will say, but he was outside the tackle box. I always figured you had to meet one of 2 prerequisites, and I thought they met the fact that he was well outside of that box.
Well, I always thought if it has to be outside the zone to throw it, and 2, it has to cross the line of scrimmage. So I thought it crossed the line of scrimmage, but maybe that had to be it. I'm not sure. 4th
down and 3.
But regardless, though, that was a smart decision by Chase Curtis anyways, because he was going to get popped or at a great defensive stand, to tell you the truth, because it was hitches all around, which would have got the 1st down.
And I said 4th down and 3. The scoreboard has not been changed. Now it has corrected to a 4th down and 22. Following the intentional grounding, Curtis back to punt, Flood at his own 48-yard line. High snap over the head of Curtis. Curtis has to go into the back of the end zone. He may just kick it away. He scoops it up in his own end zone, throws it. Brandis Evans drops it. And now it was a forward pass. It was incomplete. Incomplete. Okay, so it's finally rectified by the referee, as everyone thought it was a fumble here in Overland Park, Kansas, and everybody held their breath. So an incomplete pass. Chase Curtis with a heads-up play, but the long snap over the head of the 6'5 shortstop in baseball and the senior quarterback for this Dragon squad, the Saints, with great field position. And it's a jockeying competition now. Who will get the edge? Who will respond? Who will get the edge? Who will respond? Saints are the obvious edge, but the Dragons have been excellent the last couple of plays with responding.
Yeah, and that was a huge bullet dodge right there. As that was a smart heads-up play by Chase Curtis, as you mentioned. But now here you go. Defense got their backs against the wall for the Purple Dragons. Can they respond?
1st down and 10 from the 22-yard line of the Dragons. Swanson lines up under center. Hicks comes in motion. Deep pitch. It's to Tank again. Tank continues to run and sprint towards the outside as he rounds past the 20. He's out at the 15-yard line for a gain of 7 yards. 2nd down and 3. A good run by the freshman, and a Saints player is down on the field, and it's Hicks at the 15-yard line as he's writhing in pain, moving his hips back and forth. Not a great sign to see in a sectional matchup, and potentially an opportunity for the Saints team right now, up 21, 3:07 left in the 3rd, to have a semifinal berth. Losing a key component like that could hurt. We will step aside for a medical timeout. Be back in 30 seconds with your home of Purple Dragon Athletics, ESPN 100.7.
Since 1945, Tri-State Building has been helping build the 4-state area, providing quality construction services and dependability at competitive prices. Tri-State Building has a reputation as a general contractor and an authorized Butler builder, which holds experience, quality, and reliability above all other considerations. Tri-State Building has built a multitude of projects and is your full-service design build contractor that can take you from concept to grand opening. For an honest and proven contractor, call us, Tri-State Building.
Now back to Dragon football.
Helped off the field. Swanson lines up under center, 4-down lineman for the Dragons. The handoff up the middle, and Tank goes nowhere, but Tank with a second effort. Dylan Jordan wrapped around from the near side of the field at that outside linebacker position to make the initial pop, and then Tank tried to mushed forward before he was finally stymied at the 13-yard line. A pickup of 2 yards, and it's a 3rd down and inches.
Yeah, this is a big inches play call here. Got to be a big stop here if you're the Purple Dragons. Got to have this. If not, you got to put your backs against the wall even closer within the 10-yard line.
Swanson looks, turns, 1st down and some. Continues to move forward. Snakes out of one tackle, snakes out of another. Down to the 5-yard line. A gain of 8 yards. 1st and goal inside the Dragon 6.
Now it's even closer here. The Saints want to put this thing away as fast as they can. This is going to be a big 1st and goal, actually just a whole goal line stance itself.
An update from Shelby White back at our KSHQ studios. Lenexus St. James leading the defending 5A state champions in Shawnee Mill Valley 14-13 in the 3rd quarter. Winner of those 2 matchups will meet in the semifinals. Handoff up the middle, bursting forward for a touchdown. I believe it's Tank Young. No correction, it is Adam Davis, his very first time in the ball game. He's listed as a safety, but this time filling in as a fullback, and he popped the football right up the middle from 5 yards away. A touchdown for the Saints.
(41-14) our score now. Purple Dragons looking bleak, but you can't give up.
O'Leary on to attempt the PAT from the outside of the soccer box. Kick is up. O'Leary is able to pin it. 42-14 is the score. And back again to a 28-point contest. Dragons trail, 2:07 left in the 3rd quarter of action. We will step aside for 30 seconds to bring you back to Overland Park, Kansas, the home of Numb Toes, here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
Jocksnitz has all your hometown needs to get you geared up for the football game. New Pitt State gear has already arrived, such as hats, tees, sweatshirts, license plates, koozies, and even tees for your dog. We are your stop to make before headed to tailgate. There's only one Gorilla Nation, and there's only one Gorilla Gear headquarters, Jocksnitz Sporting Goods. Check us out in downtown Pittsburg and Park.
You got the sports look of today. Sporting Goods from Jocksnitz.
Now back to Dragon football.
So a development on the field following the Saints touchdown. Coach Randy Dreiling is absolutely filled with ire as he's yelling at the referee for an unknown reason. The score 42-14. And it looked like the officials signaled for a timeout while Coach Dreiling was talking to him, but neither side is breaking away, and now the Saints timeout is used. So each side with 2 timeouts remaining, and I'm not sure of the circumstance at hand, but I have been receiving nothing but backlash from Shelby White back at our studio and Caleb Withnow, our camera operator, that it is either referred to as the penalty box or the 18-yard line box for soccer. I'm sorry that I referred to it simply as the soccer box in the heat of the moment. I apologize if I offended any soccer or football fans.
First of all, there is no heat of the moment right now, Cam. It's too cold for that.
Touche, touche. 42-14 is the score. 2:07 left in the 3rd quarter. Saints lead it by 28. Dragons, their last scoring drive was a hookup between Curtis and Dylan White. Those two have hooked up several times throughout this season from over 40-plus yards away in their touchdown throws, as Brandis Evans as well as Ty Cicero and the senior quarterback Chase Curtis are now back on the field. The ball is at the 20-yard line following the touchdown. Split in between the hash marks.
Well, you got to go, Cam. You got to go. Can't waste any time now. It's hurry-up time.
I formation. Up back is Cicero. He'll hop over from right to left. Strong left formation. Turnaround. Handoff up the middle. And fighting forward, I think, is Jelani Long. And Jelani Long takes the handoff. So Coach Nicholson is calling upon the senior for his assistance, and his right knee is in a brace, and I think he was just going to come in for maybe one play to see the field, and I think that's just kind of a thing to do for the senior. Say, hey, go ahead and take your hand off of the middle, but, you know, 1:42 left to play, down 28. I know the situation's bleak, but you got to keep playing with fire, I suppose. But Jelani Long limping severely off the field, but what guts, what grits from the 4-year player for the Dragons. Handoff to Corbin Jefferson, makes a sharp cut at the 25, continues to buzz forward, short of the 27 at the 26-yard line. Kickoff of 2 will set up a 3rd and short.
Yep, 3rd and short. Got to get it here if you're the Purple Dragons. If not, I got to say, Cam, it's got to be 4 down territories. You're down big late in this game. Got to hurry things up, and that's exactly what they got to do if they want to stay alive in this 1 minute on the clock left in the 3rd quarter.
Purple Dragons again trail by 4 touchdowns in this ball game. It was a 28-0 lead early on in the 2nd quarter, and the Dragons have been facing an uphill climb ever since. Curtis comes down to shotgun formation, a heavy right set with a trio of receivers towards the near side of the field. Curtis rolls out, looks for White, ball thrown, swatted down, an easy read made by Ryan Jerzak.
Great read.
Jerzak, the senior outside linebacker, drifted in a zone towards the near side of the field and covered the flat. He was able to get his left hand extended out and swatted the football away.
Great read right there by Jerzak, as that was an easy looking, as he was watching Chase Curtis's eyes the whole way, and so he predicted that one. And now it's got to be 4 down territory, Cameron. And that's exactly what Coach Nicholson and company are going to do, as it's a 4th and 3.
Conrad subs out. Harris is against White again, one-on-one towards the far side of the field. It's a 1 safety look as Flood hangs back. Curtis steps back.
There it
looks
is.
for Dylan White. Quick sharp throw is caught at the 45-yard line. White slides out of bounds. He's safe at first. That will move the chains and keep the Purple Dragons drive alive. 35 ticks left in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, that's what they needed, and they knew how much they're pushing back now against White. They're going to give him cushioning, maybe a little bit linebacker help up front, but that's just the in-between difference between the linebacker and the corner to get that 1st down.
So as a quick corner route coming from Dylan White, and Curtis was able to hook up with him for the 1st down. 1st and 10, still inside Dragon territory at the 45. Curtis looks, hitch route caught by Dylan White. White into Saints territory across the 49, down at the 47-yard line, and he's near the 1st down marker. I think it's 2nd down and 1, and it is 2nd down and short. So playbook is open at this time, and you would imagine if you're the Saints, you're expecting a pass on this play. Although if you load the box and Chase Curtis sees it, you could go play action in this situation.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the right call.
An absolutely astute response from the always knowledgeable Avi Sharma as you're looking at your phone. Come on now. Deuce's receiver towards each side of the field. Curtis throws, caught by Dylan White again. His 3rd consecutive reception. He crosses the 45 out of the 44 to move the chains. 3-yard pickup.
Well, Cam, I tell you, you just need to stop making other sports references, because you just continue to get roasted right now. Shelby White's having a heyday on you now as well.
I don't know why I'm an announcer. I think many people listening would agree, too, to say, why is this guy even talking?
Yeah. But, hey, 11 seconds left on the clock in the 3rd quarter. You're seeing back-to-back passes to White. We'll see if they mix things up, but the Purple Dragons, like they said, they got to keep the clock going.
Deuces each side, stacked towards the far side of the field. Curtis initially was going to snap it, but then turned towards Coach Nicholson for the audible. Hikes up his right leg, 5 seconds on the play clock, and a false start.
That was another hitch route. Dylan White caught it one hand.
And the referee comes in, gestures towards the Purple Dragons, and it is a false start. So instead of a 1st and 10, it is now a 2nd down and 15, 10 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. As the St. Thomas Aquinas band members are currently trying to keep warm, and they're tuning up their instruments maybe to appease the crowd between the 3rd and the 4th quarter while both sides are switching. There's a Saints fan, a young Saints fan wearing a panda hat.
Keeping him warm.
Curtis looks, pump fakes, looks. Dylan White, double coverage downfield. A beautiful throw. Curtis has the ball intercepted, but a flag comes in. Dylan White, I think, was grabbed by Harris before he was able to latch onto the football, and then was picked off by Flood. However, the downs judge is now saying that it is Saints football, pointing towards the opposite direction. The referee is not over towards the down judge or the back judge yet to see what they have to say.
Well, regardless, that penalty was for sure thrown before the interception, so whatever happens, this will be before the interception happens.
We'll see. I guess it's either going to be offensive or defensive pass interference then. 2 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Referee makes his way out past the Purple Dragons players that are clocking up the 35-yard line. Pass interference on the Saints. So it is a 15-yard penalty. 2 ticks left in the third quarter. Dragons could take advantage of this current field position, and now the football is being moved.
They got to spot it.
Oh, they have to. Okay.
They have to go back to and spot it, the 15.
So from the 49 all the way 15 plus, about the 34-yard line. And St. Thomas Aquinas fans not pleased about that. Harris has been picked on all night. He succeeded 1 touchdown in the early goings of the third quarter to why it was a 63-yard bomb, and then a couple pass interference calls against him tonight.
Well, this should be the last play of the third quarter. Not sure if we're going to get out. Never mind. It is.
Double zeros in the third. And that will be the end of the third quarter of action. We head into the final frame, the climactic finish of this sectional round of the 2017 Class 5A Kansas State football playoff. 42-14 the score. The Saints lead. The Dragons trying to keep their hopes alive, riding on the shoulders of quarterback Chase Curtis. Back in 30 seconds with more Purple Dragon football on ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters.
It's game time all across the 4 states, and Frank Fletcher Toyota here in Joplin is here to cheer on every tackle, touchdown, set, and spike. That's why on behalf of the Kansas City Dealers Association, we've had the opportunity to share over $50,000 this year to support schools and local charitable organizations in the 4 states. For our team, it's always been about giving back, and Frank Fletcher Toyota applauds the hardworking and dedication of our educators, coaches, parents, and student athletes. Frank Fletcher Toyota is proud to be the #1 volume new car dealer in the 4 states and an 8-time Toyota President's Award winner. So this season, come check out the full lineup and give us an opportunity to show you what an award-winning guest experience looks like. Our best deals on the best cars in America are only at Frank Fletcher Toyota, Joplin.
Now back to Dragon football.
With Avi Sharma, Caleb Whitnell, as well as Shelby White back at our KSHQ studios. I'm Cam Molina here for ESPN 100.7. Dragons trail by 28, beginning of the fourth quarter, 42-14. Curtis on a first down and 10, following the pass interference call against Harris. Corbin Jefferson, who was trying to sashay towards the right hip of the center, left hip of the right guard, is stopped. He goes nowhere, actually a loss of 1. Second down and 11. And using our very wicked observational skills, we see Jackson, who was still being tended to at the trainer's table. His right knee is bandaged up with ice on top, most likely to reduce swelling, and that's not a good sign to see. And there is someone manning the gator. I don't know if they will cart him out, and there's a trainer currently talking with him. If he hasn't been carted out already, since he's been out since the early going of the third quarter, I doubt he leaves now. Curtis on the run, finds Brett Weavers, who drags his back right foot short of the 20 at the 23-yard line. A pickup of 12 yards. Brett Weavers, the DB, backup quarterback, and now big-time receiver, making a double-digit yard pickup.
What a catch by Weavers on the sideline to hang on to the ball, and not only that, but keep his feet in bounds. And so now the Purple Dragons doing the smart thing, catching passes and getting out of bounds to stop the clock to make some plays.
Ball at the 23-yard line of the Saints on the right hash mark. Dragon offense going from right to left with their purple helmets. A gleam coming from the lights here in Overland Park, Kansas, as the handoff is to Evans, and he mushed right up the middle, and then he was forklifted up and then stopped at the 15, maybe 14-yard line. A gain of 8 or 9, pickup of 8 officially for second down and 2, but Evans nearly went airborne.
Well, that's starting to be a trend now. That's the past 3 games Evans have been uplifted.
You are right, yeah, now that I recall, yeah.
And so Evans doing stuff on the ground and the air.
Well, Zachary Sutton is one-on-one towards the near side of the field. There's going to be safety help with Harris as the handoff is up the middle once again. This time it is to Brandis Evans, and he moves the chain, so it will be a first down and 10 from the 12-yard line of the Saints. So a chance to pick up a first down at the 2-yard line.
Big drive, or red zone opportunity here for Pittsburgh. Obviously a 4-down territory, so no matter what the case is, as you're down big, got to score here, Camo.
42-14 the score. Saints lead by 28. 10-20 left in the contest. The Dragons seeking a semifinal berth. The first under Coach Nicholson. They made sectional 3 out of the last 4 seasons. To the left of Curtis is Evans, and Evans is absolutely blanketed in the backfield. He had nowhere to go as Matthew Roberts, the sophomore defensive end, came flying in for the tackle behind the line of scrimmage, a loss of 2, 2nd down and 12 with under 10 ticks left. The Saints sideline passing the football around, making sure everybody stays warm. Purple Dragons sideline, a lot less numbers than the Saints. It almost is like a David and Goliath. Yeah, kind of like a David Goliath deal, although these teams are only separated by 1 seating placement in the 5A brackets. 3 receiver set. Curtis turns, hitch route, White catches it right on the numbers, bounces outside, and the ball was laced perfectly right on that number 4, and now Dylan White is injured. He will fall to the ground, and it looks like his left leg was the leg that seemed to be marred by injury, and he came up limping as soon as he caught the football, took 1 step, 2 step, and then dropped, and now he is on the ground still, and it does not look good. But the Dragons are already carrying on, and I don't know if it's cramps, but White is still moving about in a very helter-skelter manner, moving back and forth on his back. I'm not sure if it's cramps or what, but it seems like the trainer is acting like it is cramps. Curtis looks, slant route. It is caught in the backfield, actually on a wheel route by Zachary Sutton. He's down at the 3-yard line. A pickup of maybe 1 or 2 yards. 4th down now.
Got to convert here. Purple Dragons will go for it, and Dylan White is hurt. It's not a cramp. I can tell you that from right here from this angle.
And it looked like the trainer was stretching him out at first, and now Dylan White has thrown his helmet off. He's at the far sideline. He's up on his elbows looking up, and as he's being stretched out, he just lays right back on his back, and he can feel that pain. Ball is spotted on the left hash mark at the 4-yard line of the Saints. Saints fans getting loud. Dragon fans pretty quiet. I formation, handoff, Brandis Evans. It's a struggle.
I don't think
he
he got
goes nowhere, absolutely nowhere. And an interesting play call on 4th down to run the football. And the Saints have absolutely dictated what the Dragons could do up front. The passing game has worked well tonight, but without their primary target, Coach Nicholson settles for a more conservative approach, and it does not pay off. 1st down and 10 for the Saints inside of their own 5-yard line. However, silver lining, defense comes back out onto the field, and maybe the defense can make a play, but now the Dragons are also without their starting free safety in White.
Yeah, and that one hurts, because that's a bad, serious injury there, but we got to move on. We're on the field now. 1st and 10. Backs are against the wall here if you're the Saints, but you got to make a play for Pittsburgh.
Sam Roark is the cornerback as a pitch is to Tank. Tank snakes out of 1 tackle, worms out of another. He's down at the 12-yard line, an 8-yard catch picked up.
Tank getting that nickname for a reason, continuing to go through players, and we have another hurt Purple Dragon there. It looks like a slow to get up. Not sure if I can see who it was.
Well, Landon Conrad is now making his way off the field, and you were saying that number 10 was the one that's injured, and if you're correct, that's Chase Johnson. And I do not see Johnson on the field. Dylan Jordan taking a squat at the 16-yard line.
He's right by him. There he is.
Swanson. Handoff will be kept, by the backup quarterback, Tate Raboyne. So Raboyne comes in, and I mentioned earlier there was passing on the sideline, and now flags come in late. And it seems there was some extracurricular activity as man for the Saints was tied up with one of the Purple Dragons players. And Jerry Butcher now talking with the official saying, hey, we're trying to back off. I think it was on him. An obvious plea from both sides to get the call going their way. But we'll see unsportsmanlike conduct, I beg your pardon, on one of these teams here in a moment.
Well, Ty Cicero's the man jogging out the field. I wonder if that's him, because it was one of the defensive linemen up front. And that's who it is. As Coach Nicholson wants a word with him. So Cicero might have been the one in trouble on that one.
So Cicero's mistake, as he was tied up with man, moves the football ahead for the Saints with 7:42 remaining in the ballgame and up 28. And the situation more and more dim for the Dragons each second. But I was touching on, I mentioned a few minutes ago, there were some players passing on the sideline. It was Reboyne, and I guess Swanson is out, and it must be because of the score, because Swanson was out the last offensive series, but Coach Dreiling thinks this Saints team can run out the clock.
That's exactly what they're going to do, Cam. They're going to keep it within the plays here and run the football as much as they can to ice this thing and put it away.
Reboyne on the season, 63 yards rushing, 1 rushing touchdown at that quarterback position. Has not done too much through the air, though. Harris comes in motion, and it's a handoff to Hicks as Hicks slices to the left side of the defensive line for the Dragons and picks up 6. Reboyne, 3 of 10 this season, 123 yards passing, 2 touchdowns through the air. 7 minutes remaining in the ballgame, and the Dragons are just hoping for another defensive stand to give the football back to Chase Curtis, most likely down their star receiver Dylan White, who's standing up right now, still near the trainers, with his helmet off. So not a good sign for the Dragons. Deep back is Young. Clune comes in motion from right to left, the big tight end. Hicks fakes to the right, goes up the middle to handoff to Young. Young picks up the first down, and he's stymied short of the 45 at the 44-yard line. And at this point, it seems like a waiting game, Avi. The Dragons have not found a solution to this great offense of the Saints, and now a entirely new unit of Saints players now on the field, and a standing ovation coming from the St. Thomas Aquinas fans, and that could be the victory lap, if you will, for this team as the semifinals looking more and more like a reality than an idea.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. You got to tip your hats off to both teams. They've fought very hard all season long, especially in tonight's game. But I think the Saints looked really good tonight, Cameron.
Very, very good as Young's in the backfield once more. Reboyne turns, handoff Young, goes nowhere. The tackle is made by Roark behind the line of scrimmage, 2nd down and 11. Pittsburg High School will lose 20 seniors, including Chase Curtis, who accounted for 23 touchdowns entering this ball game on the season, 25 total touchdowns. So they'll lose their biggest playmaker. Jelani Long also graduates. Corbin Jefferson graduates. Zachary Sutton, a majority of the offensive line. Coach Nicholson will lose a lot of talent in the offseason.
A lot of talent, a lot of heart on the team, Cameron. These guys were some big contributors all 4 years of their high school career. They did a phenomenal job, but you got to tip your hats off to them.
Deep pitch to Young, and he's tripped up underneath by Jarek Butcher, who dove at the legs of Young. Young flew through the air for about half a second, then landed back down to planet Earth. The ball spotted towards the top of the cross, which is the symbol next to the shield at center field, short of the 50-yard line at the 46. Cheerleaders for the Saints also trying to stay warm, each of them wearing headbands. I know our cameraman Caleb Wood now, while we were at Dick's Sporting Goods, bought a jockey cap so he could stay warm tonight, but he wanted one of those North Face headbands, but I've never seen a guy wear a North Face headband like that.
I'd be proud to wear one tonight, my friend.
And stumbling is Reboyne. As he trips, he tries to pitch the football back. Ball is scooped up by Eichenberger, and it's a recovery by the Dragons. So the PHS offense will come out at the 30-yard line following a big gap by Reboyne. And Coach Dreiling talking with his quarterback. He's right in his ear, now in his face. He's saying, if you can't make that pitch, just fall.
Yeah, I agree. You're up that big. You don't need to do that. You just got to take the loss as the loss is already. You know, don't need to make it worse on that play. But, you know, that's a learning mistake. Good thing it happened now, you know, as he will probably be the quarterback for their team next year.
Dreiling is not done as he is laying into C.J. Eddy, the backup wide receiver. He's, I guess, talking to the senior saying, how can you let a mistake like that happen? And now he's right in the grill of Reboyne. Absolutely vehementing. And now Curtis will take a fall all the way back at his own 42-yard line. It's a sack of 12 yards and a big sack coming from Bowling.
Curtis has been under pressure when he's rolling out like that all night. Didn't have a pass to throw to, so he just took the safe route and took the least amount of hit that he could take there.
2nd and 21, 4:15 remaining in the ball game. 42-14 the score. The Saints lead it. Cicero will sub out, and the Dragons fan base mute. It's been few and far in between when the Dragons fans have had something to cheer about tonight. Deuce receiver stacked towards the far side of the field. Curtis, multiple step drop, dumps it off. Dylan White, who's back on the field, tries to hesitate. He tap dances, and he stopped at the 39-yard line. A lot of running for little to no gain, and the flag came in as Dylan White caught the football.
This should be a holder, an illegal block in the back against the Purple Dragons.
Which would move the Dragons further back, and that has been the theme of the night, Avi. Execution and discipline, a lack thereof for this Dragons team tonight.
Absolutely, and that's you can't have that in this late in the season, Cam. Definitely hurt them very, very much so. They're actually going to wave off the flag.
So it's a 3rd down instead of a 2nd and probably 30-some. Ball will be respotted.
3:47 on the clock. They will, I think he was out of bounds, so I think the clock will be stopped.
So ball is at the 41-yard line, I beg your pardon. So Dylan White caught the football on a comeback route, or it seemed like a comeback route, or he made an adjustment in the open field, caught the football, and then tried to wheel back upfield. But as he swooped towards the near sideline, he maybe picked up half an inch. 3rd down at 21 again. Curtis under center, dual wings, one on each side of the field. Turnaround is to Brandis Evans. Brandis Evans chops his legs forward to the 35-yard line.
Flag on the play. Late flag. Not sure what they're going to... Oh, okay.
So the referee threw the flag
holding
at the 41 and then thought it best to throw it across the 40 to the 39-yard line. So he could show the press box, I suppose. And now Coach Dreiling is saying that he may not want the penalty to force the 4th down.
They're going to take it. Yeah, they're going to take it, push him back 10.
So the hold is accepted by Coach Dreiling, who is seeking his first state championship as the head coach for the Saints, and so much talent, especially up front. But the scary injury to Jackson, who you and I were completely mesmerized by with his running ability and his athleticism, went out in the early part of the 3rd quarter and was replaced by Young, who has played valiantly, but he's no Jackson, who has 2 rushing touchdowns in the ballgame and has been the primary contributor for this offense with over 1,400 yards rushing.
Yeah, the big loss you saw the tape on him. That definitely meant the ice on his leg. That definitely meant his night was over with. Hopefully he's okay and ready to go, as this Saints team's going to need him for next week.
3rd and 30. Trips towards the far side. Delayed handoff is to Corbin Jefferson. Jefferson hopped back in at the 40, makes another strong cut. He runs along the left hashes, and he's down at the 36-yard line.
And a good play.
14-yard pickup, 4th down and 14 to go.
And I believe they're going to go for it here. Why not? You know, if you're the Purple Dragons, see if you can make something out of nothing, Cam, as it's potentially the last time this offense can step on the field of their season.
So Curtis, potentially, as you said, Avi, the last time any sort of high school field will be graced with his presence after what has been a stellar season for the senior quarterback. 25 total touchdowns on the year, 16 through the year. Curtis rolls out, looks deep, on the run, lobs it up, jump ball, caught by Drew Rolls, and he's finally lassoed across the 15, down at the 10-yard line. What a pitch and catch. Drew Rolls was able to sandwich the ball in between his hands as well as his right shoulder pad, and that was enough to move the chains and some.
Yeah, that was a great play by Curtis, as it's a corner route. We've seen those routes all night long for the Purple Dragons. And Rolfs, that was his first catch, I believe, for the night. So PHS staying alive, looking to score one last time.
Under 2 minutes left, 42-14 is the score. Shotgun formation, Curtis, dual backs. Curtis looks, left side, caught. Landon Conrad makes a hop step at the 5-yard line and then is absolutely pushed backwards as he's belted behind the 10.
Got to keep going. Don't need to make those moves there, Cam. That PHS has done that all night long. They just go get the yards.
And you'll hear coaches tell players time and time again, don't make a move, just run. because more often than not, you'll be able to slip out of a tackle with your forward momentum, or you're going to put us in a better position to score.
Absolutely.
But the forward progress puts the football inside of the 18-yard box. Thank you, courtesy of Caleb. What now? Ball is on the left hash mark of the 5 in Saints territory with 1:15 left in the ball game. Curtis, handoff. Brandis Evans, stutter step.
Good cut.
Jumps into the air. He thought he could Air Jordan it to the end zone from the 4-yard line, but he's not Blake Griffin as he is slammed back down to reality at the 3.
First and goal. It's going to be a minute left on the clock. PHS is going to do everything they can to score one last time on this season, Cam. Be interesting to see who they want to give it to.
1:06 remaining in the contest, and the clock is now rebooted following the football being repositioned. Curtis talking with his boys in the huddle, and it was a bit longer than normal. I think he was also telling his guys, let's make this happen. Curtis turns, Evans lowers his shoulder pad, he's into the end zone for a Purple Dragon touchdown. So the Dragons make the score 42-20. And the PAT will make it a 21-point contest if good from Nathan Neef. Make sure to stick around for the post-game report. We will go over the final scoring drive, a look towards tomorrow for the ESPN 100.7 schedule, and maybe have a chance to talk with Coach Nicholson. That is tentative because of the distance between the press box and the sideline. In addition, he has to climb up a ladder to get up here, so it's quite a ways to traverse. Neef, his PAT as he waits with his dandelion cleats. Gives him a thumbs up. Kick is up. Kick is sideways. It is good. 42-21 the score, 45 ticks remaining. We will step aside 30 seconds and bring you back the last 45 seconds of action from Overland Park, Kansas, here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
At Lindbergh Pharmacy, we care about your health. From a qualified and caring staff to services like our Time My Meds and MedPack programs, Lindbergh Pharmacy provides personalized service you can count on. Refill prescriptions online at lindberghpharmacy.com or on your smartphone with our free Lindbergh Pharmacy mobile app. You can also sign up for our text alert program and we'll text or email you when your prescription is ready. Can't make it to us? We'll deliver your medications right to your door. Lindbergh Pharmacy, now 2 locations to serve you.
Now back to Dragon football.
Brandis Evans may have scored the last touchdown of the season for the Dragons as Cody Bressler is out on the field. 42-21 is the score. The Saints lead it, and the neon green cleated Bressler is out on the field and puts the football on the tee at the 40-yard line. 45 seconds left, up 21 points. The Saints just need to take a couple knees. I don't think Coach Nicholson is going to use a timeout. I think he's content with allowing Brandis Evans to cap off the season like that. There was a chance to give Chase Curtis and some of the seniors their last hurrah as the Purple Dragon fans are beginning to provide a mass exodus from the bleachers away from the press box. The ball is muffed, scooped up at the 25, taken to the 30, and finally dropped across the 35 to the 37-yard line was Max Siebel.
Yeah, I mean, you see the families at PHS are going to head down to the field. It's going to be a hard moment for some of these guys. You know, Coach Nicholson couldn't be more proud. These guys are going to they're going to soak this one in a little bit, but you know, you can't you got to give credit to this team. They had a phenomenal season, Cameron. They've overcame quite some difficulties to get to where they are today, and I tell you, I couldn't tell you enough. They played a really good St. Thomas Aquinas Saints football team tonight.
The Saints will advance to the semifinals. They will play the winner of the Mill Valley as well as Lenexus St. James ball game. Last time we checked in the third quarter, it was 14-13 Lenexus St. James against the defending Class 5A state champions. The state championship game for Class 5A will be held at Carney Smith Stadium, and I have a sneaky suspicion that the Saints will have an opportunity to play there in about 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time.
Hopefully it'll be warmer by then, Cameron.
Well, when you and I are running the production, we're typically inside, so we allow Caleb to do the grunt work. 5 seconds left. Both sides are going to go ahead and just call it and go to the middle of the field, and the clock hits 000. Final score 42-21. The St. Thomas Aquinas Saints down the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons in what was a Cinderella run for a senior Layton Dragon bunch. Coach Tom Nicholson, an excellent job coaching this crew. Chase Curtis, 25 total touchdowns on the year. Corbin Jefferson, Jelani Long, Joel Kafka, etc., as seniors all performed magnificently, and the Saints, who are curled up all the way to the 30-yard line, exchanging high fives with the Dragons, who will go home with a sour taste in their mouth, sadly. Final score 42-21. We will step aside for 2 minutes, provide a drive summary for this contest, as well as a look at the regular season, just a reflection of what happened throughout this season, and then potentially have Coach Nicholson up here and preview what ESPN 100.7 has to offer this upcoming Saturday. Stay tuned for more action here on ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters. Back in 2 minutes.
Welcome to Orthopedic Specialist of the 4 States. Neck to toe, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care group and facility in the region. Only minutes from downtown Joplin. Unlike the hospital system, Ortho 4 States was founded and is operated by board-certified and fellowship-trained orthopedic doctors and surgeons, focused on a mission to restore patients' quality of life and eliminate the pain and suffering caused by injuries and disorders of the spine and joints. Uniquely structured to cater to patient benefit, convenience, and choice, Ortho 4 States doctors, physical therapists, physician assistants, and nurse practitioners all work together to provide compassionate and very personalized care, but with state-of-the-art orthopedic techniques, equipment, and a facility only expected to be found in major cities. Orthopedic Specialist of the 4 States, bringing personalized, world-class orthopedic care to the 4-state area.
Thank you, Ortho 4 States, for fixing my spine and letting me cheer again.
When you get engaged and need to pay for the wedding, when you have a baby and need to start that college savings account, it seems like the best moments in life can come with some real financial challenges. What's yours? At Commerce Bank, we find solutions so you can focus on enjoying life. Visit us online at commercebank.com or at a branch near you. Commerce Bank, challenge accepted. Member FDIC.
Getting the game-winning score is how you feel when you take your vehicle to Vietti Auto Body and Alignment. They have pros that can take your car from to. With a team of experienced pros that get the job done right the first time. Vietti Auto Body and Alignment will deal with the insurance companies, making it a game-winning experience for you. Plus, they have all the latest collision repair equipment and technology to get your car back on the road again looking good as new. Vietti Auto Body and Alignment voted your #1 choice for auto body repair and independent service and repair again this year. On 4th Street since 1948, or call 231-6230. Find them fast in names and numbers.
Now back to Dragon football.
For the last time this season, purple helmets were raised high with pride. The Pittsburg High Purple Dragons, not the result they wanted, but the result that subsequently came against a better team, against the St. Thomas Aquinas Saints, losing in this contest 42-21. It was a really exciting matchup. The Saints led early on, Avi, but the Dragons battled back. It looked like they would have an opportunity heading into halftime with maybe just an 18-point deficit. Some big-time plays kept the Dragons in it, but in the end, Aquinas.
If you are injured in an accident or on the job, it is vitally important that you hire the right attorney. Before choosing an attorney, you should make sure they have the resources to fight large corporations or insurance companies. Your attorney should have extensive trial court experience and a track record of success. The Spigarelli Law Firm, with offices in Pittsburg and Coffeyville, has the experience, resources, and reputation to provide the quality representation your claim deserves. Fred Spigarelli has received the top rating from his peers with a Martindale Hubble Independent Rating System. His firm has the resources to hire the experts and physicians needed to properly present your claim. The Spigarelli Law Firm has successfully tried cases for over 40 years and taken numerous cases all the way to the Supreme Court. Call the Spigarelli Law Firm today at 877-409-7931 or visit their website at spigarelli-law.com.
USI Quality Structures Incorporated specializes in designing and building complete post-frame buildings. We provide structures built to withstand a 30-pound ground snow load and a 90-mile-per-hour wind shear built to the most
And we welcome you back to St. Thomas Aquinas High School, and we pardon the technical difficulties. I think some Saints fans were overzealous trying to usher us out. For those of you on our video stream, we're trying to get our video back up, and there it is. Final score once again, 42-21. The Saints prevail over the Dragons. And a quick breakdown of the scoring summary. Swanson scored the game's first touchdown from 8 yards away, making the score 6-0. Jackson popped it in from 4 yards away, making it 14-0 following the Swanson two-point conversion. Chase Curtis on a lateral to Brett Weimers. That was a fumble recovered by the Saints. Jackson scored again from 2 yards away to begin the second quarter. Swanson scored from 1 yard away, 28-0 with 10:30 left in the first half. Before Swanson followed the football, he was peppered by Dylan Jordan, a forced fumble recovered by Bentley Bocat. It was taken all the way inside the 20 of the Saints, and then the Dragons would be able to strike right before the end of the first half, 28-7 at intermission. The Dragons had another chance to score, but Nathan Neef missing a field goal from about 27 yards away. In the third quarter of play was Davis rushing in from 53 yards away on what was a spectacular run, but Curtis and White would retort with a long touchdown of their own, a 63-yard hookup, making the score 35-14. Adams, who subbed in for Jackson, who was injured early on in the third quarter, scored from 1 yard away to make the score 42-14. And then Brandis Evans, with about 45 seconds left, popped it in from 3 yards away. 42-21, the final score. Obviously, we see a lot of seniors go, 20 to be exact. Some really big names: Alex Kafka, Landon Conrad, Ty Cicero, Chase Johnson, Chris Wood, Patrick Sullivan, Chase Curtis, Corbin Jefferson, Drew Rolfs. The list goes on and on and on. And this is the downside of high school football, or football in general. You see a lot of good young players go.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, hats off to this Purple Dragons team. Unbelievable season. They did phenomenal. They have nothing to be disappointed about, Cameron. They had a great season. They played a tough team to end their season. And then, you know, this is always the hardest thing to do, is you got seniors that got to go. They won't be back on this team, but they left their mark. One of my favorite things to say about teams that lose players like this is you're never going to have that same team again. That's something that you can cherish and hold on to forever, as it was a great team. They played great all year long. Got to tip their hats off to them. You know, the seniors, got to congratulate them. They played a great 4 years. And then if you're Coach Nicholson and the other guys, it's, you know, you're going to soak this one in. It's going to hurt. But, you know, after tomorrow, or after tonight, it's a brand new season for them, Cameron. They're gonna have to move forward and look to the next season.
Great way to word it, Avi. Just Coach Nicholson right now hanging out with the Purple Dragons team that are all embracing one another, hanging out with their family following the sectional runner-off, a loss to the St. Thomas Aquinas Saints 42-21. Again, congratulations to the Purple Dragons on what was a great season. You know, a quick recap of the regular season. Again, to start off the year, you play the reigning Class 4 champions in the Harrisonville Wildcats. A stunning victory for the Dragons. Chase Curtis and company seemed like one of the most potent teams in 5A. You and I talked about it next week against Chanute, against the Blue Comets, where Chase Curtis and company dropped 50 points. And then against Webb City, that's where the real challenge came into play on the road against John Roderick. Seniors grew, and the Cardinals absolutely decimated the Dragons, but the Dragons competed. They did the exact same thing against Carl Junction, their second loss in the regular season, and then in the playoffs taking on KC Washington, beating that club, then downing Turner, dropping 61 points, a season high, and then tonight being within 14 points at one point. You know, it's just kind of tough to sit back and put it all into perspective, and I think it's even more difficult for some of these kids because they realize it's over for some of us. We're not going to the state championship, but just live off your successes.
Absolutely. you know, I've been in this same spot exactly. It was one of the hardest things to go through, but the best thing about it is you're with those guys over there and you're enjoying every second of it while you can. It's something that you'll have to cherish and keep with you forever. These guys will see each other one last time at the banquet. You know, they'll enjoy dinner with each other, and obviously they'll still hang out and do things like that. But this is the last time, Cameron. These guys are gonna embrace it as much as they can, but again, nothing to be disappointed about, and got to congratulate that St. Thomas Aquinas team. They played phenomenal. They've done that all season long, and like you dropped the hint earlier, we might see them in that 5A title game because they are a dang good team. But just soak this in with your family and friends if you're the PHS, and then if you're playing basketball, it's on to basketball season. If not, hit the weight room, get ready for your next sport.
Just a quick shout out to the remainder of what will be the football season for Pittsburg State. They will take on Missouri Southern tomorrow at home. Make sure to join Mike Snow as well as BJ Harris and Eddie Lomchek for that. Moso 0-10 on the season. The Gorillas trying to vie for that fourth spot in the conference, potentially a bowl opportunity. It should be an exciting game, but immediately succeeding that will be a men's basketball contest, as today Pittsburg State beat Minnesota State Mankato by a lofty amount. They will play St. Cloud State, home of the Huskies, tomorrow at 6 p.m. So make sure to tune in to that doubleheader. In addition, today the Lomchek went up to Kansas City and was able to provide coverage for the women's basketball team as they were also playing in their MIAA and SIC Conference Select bout. So once again, final score 42-21 from all of us here at ESPN 100.7 alongside Avi Sharma, Caleb Whitnow, back in our studio, Shelby White. I've been Cam Molina. Thank you so much for joining us throughout this season. Have fun, be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow for Pittsburg State football and basketball. You've listened to your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
No one wants to file for bankruptcy, but a wage garnishment can make it hard to pay the rent.